Man who refuses to follow the script.
We have rules here, you know that. And if you don't follow the rules, then what are we?
One man stands tall in the face of adversity.
But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
A man who rises above the ashes of hot takes.
What do you care what they say?
Easy for you to say they all love you.
It's just noise, man. You're really good at it. You might be great.
That man is Nick Kostos, and this is You Better You Bet.
If loving sports is wrong, I don't want to be right.
Where narratives are challenged and the truth is spoken.
I told you what was going to happen last week. If you didn't listen, that's on you.
This isn't talk. It's perspective.
It's not what you look at that matters. It's what you see.
This is You Better You Bet, presented by BetMGM on Westwood One Sports.
And yours, this is You Better Bet Yet with Nick Kostos on Westwood One Sports, as we bring you the fastest show in all of sports. Coming to you live from Radio Row. Got some double audio in my ear, guys. I'm just going to take the heads. We good now? Good? Okay. Coming to you live from Radio Row, Day 3, San Francisco, California, the site of Super Bowl 60, and we have an amazing show coming your way. The show presented today and always by our friends at BetMGM. Make it legendary by downloading the BetMGM app and visiting BetMGM.com. The world of sports alive on this Wednesday. The guests are insane and are going to be insane as we move forward this week. Today on the show, Scott Hanson, the host of NFL Redzone. He is absolutely the best. Danny Parkins, Fox Sports. Robert Mays, host of the Athletic Football Show. Nate Tice from Yahoo Sports. NFL great Sean Merriman, and more over the course of the next 3 hours here on this Wednesday. And the guest parade is going to start coming up in a little bit here in the first hour of today's show. 6:02 a.m. local time in the Bay Area. But we need to begin the show with everything that happened yesterday in the NBA after we went off the air. And I think the first trade, which was the Jaren Jackson trade from Memphis to Utah, happened shortly after we went off the air. Got a text from Tyler Morales on our show crew saying, man, I wish this had happened on the air. I don't. So we had like 9 guests on. Been like, hey, like really important guests, like chill out. Let me give you my opinion on how Jaren Jackson Jr. fits next to Larry Markkinen in the Utah Jazz front court. So happy all that stuff happened after we went off the air yesterday. We will get to all the trades here to open up the show. And we actually have a delicious bit of irony because tonight in the NBA, we have the Los Angeles Clippers hosting the Cleveland Cavaliers. I went to Basketball Monster, which is the website I use to I've talked about it on the show before. It's a great website to track who's playing in games, who's not playing. If you want to play fantasy, make bets on the NBA, it's kind of an invaluable tool. And I'm looking at it like 20 minutes ago. And I see that James Harden is doubtful for tonight. And I'm like, doubtful? Like he just got traded. Like he's not on the Clippers anymore. And then I realized that the Cavs of either the Oklahoma City Thunder or the Denver Nuggets. So I actually think this makes sense from a Clippers perspective. And Garland is a really young piece, obviously. And when he's healthy, he's awesome. It's just, can he be available? And if he can be, I like this moving forward for the LA Clippers. And I think this kind of unofficially marks the end of the Kawhi Leonard era in LA with the Clippers. And I don't blame the Clippers for going for it, right, with Kawhi and with Paul George. Obviously, the Paul George trade turned out to be an epic disaster and has loaded up Oklahoma City for bear to maybe be a dynasty in the NBA, the Shai Gilgeous-Alexander trade. I don't blame the Clippers for going for it, trying to get out of the Lakers' shadow in Los Angeles, but clearly it didn't work. And with James Harden now going to Cleveland, it feels like this probably unofficially the end of the LA Clippers' aspirations of winning an NBA championship. Now, as far as the Cleveland Cavaliers go, I totally get this from their perspective. What they need right now, the biggest ability for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and the one that's the most important for them, is availability. And Darius Garland has been unavailable. And I think the Cavs correctly look at the landscape in the NBA's Eastern Conference and see a ton of opportunity. Where the Boston Celtics, who don't have Jason Tatum right now, are among the favorites. And the New York Knicks at the top of the list. And the Knicks have been a good team this year, but have been pretty, last night's win notwithstanding, have been pretty inconsistent. And the Pistons are, the best team record-wise, but the Pistons probably feel like they're a year away from truly competing for a championship. So I think Cleveland's kind of feeling it right now. Like, this is our opportunity. We can strike while the iron's hot. We can actually compete right now to win the Eastern Conference. We can maybe get to an NBA Finals. That's eluded them, obviously, in the Donovan Mitchell era. And now that James Harden joins the team, obviously I think people will point to and look at his failures in the postseason throughout his career. And I kind of bristle when people will use the word narrative to describe James Harden's playoff failures. It's not a narrative. Like, these are facts. Like, it has happened enough times now where you can say, this is probably what it's going to be for James Harden. The way I think it can work in terms of the Cavs winning the Eastern Conference this year and at least getting to the NBA Finals is if Harden kind of accepts his role as a facilitator. Like, Donovan Mitchell's going to be the leading man on this team. Mitchell's going to be the one iso ball who's going to be scoring in the clutch. And it's going to be up to Harden to be a secondary scorer. And we'll see if Cleveland has any moves up its sleeve as we approach the deadline, right? Like, we'll see what happens with Jared Allen. Can Harden get Evan Mobley more involved on offense? Get Jared Allen more involved on offense? And Harden doesn't have to be the first banana. He doesn't even have to be the second banana. And I think a lot of people, and I understand why, will say this can't work and the Cavs can't get to an NBA Finals because James Harden can't perform in the playoffs. And I don't know if that's going to be true. Because James Harden, what's going to be asked of him, is not what it's been asked of him in the past. So I'm a little more optimistic and a little more bullish on this than a lot of people are. So I like this trade for Cleveland, and I like it for the LA Clippers. The old win-win, the rare win-win when we talk about trades in the NBA or in any sports. So that is the first trade we have to discuss. Let's talk about Jaren Jackson Jr. from Memphis going to Utah for 3 future unprotected first-round picks. For Memphis, this absolutely had to happen, and feels like this is the first of 2 moves that need to be made before the deadline tomorrow, the other obviously being trading Ja Morant. And think about what we said on this show in the wake of Ja kind of feuding with Tomas Isolo, the head coach of the Memphis Grizzlies. And what I said on this show was, if you're Memphis and you have to pick between Isolo and Ja Morant, and it sounds crazy, right, because Ja's the franchise player and a star player, and this is a young, unproven coach, you have to take the coach. Like, they're all in on this coach, they're all in on this philosophy, and Ja has kind of blown his opportunity. Why would you stick with Ja Morant? They've never gotten past the second round. So I thought, and I said this a couple months ago, that the Desmond Bane trade this offseason to Orlando for a bevy of first-round picks, that was a half measure, as Mike Ehrmantraut would say in Breaking Bad. It was a half measure. If you're going to trade Desmond Bane, what you're saying is like, you're not going to win. So why not get rid of Ja Morant and why sign Jaren Jackson Jr. to an extension? So for Memphis now, with 13 first-round picks over the course of the next 7 years and a couple good young players, Cedric Howard's good, we'll see what Zach Edey can be, I think this is a good piece of business by the Memphis Grizzlies. You're never winning with Jaren Jackson Jr. and Ja Morant as your 2 stars, so why try to? Get the assets that you can. I like this a lot for Memphis. And for Utah and Danny Ainge and Will Hardy, it feels like, and we saw this in Boston, right, with Ainge, where, like, when's he gonna pull the trigger? When's he gonna put his foot down on the accelerator? It feels like he did that to a degree here by bringing Jaren Jackson Jr. in. Now, it's not a play for this year, obviously, for Utah. But next year, when Walker Kessler is back healthy, you can actually rebound the basketball because, you know, Jaren Jackson Jr. and Lauri Markkanen are not the best rebounders of the ball. So now you have Kessler and Jaren Jackson Jr. and Lauri Markkanen. Keontae George is emerging as a star. You have Ace Bailey, obviously, who, like, I think a lot of people have high hopes for. And they have their first-round pick in this draft, and you know they're going to start shutting guys down to try and get a top pick. I like this for Utah. So we have 2 trades, the first 2 trades that we're discussing here as we approach the deadline, that I think are win-wins for both teams. So I like it for Utah, and I like it for Memphis. And I also like the Nikola Vucevic trade for Boston, and I like it for Chicago. Now, I don't have to bore you, the audience, with the financial flexibility that the Celtics are gaining here as a result of this trade, getting out of the first apron. But it's a good piece of business for Boston to acquire another player in the front court. And the Celtics get Jason Tatum back, and we'll see about that, can absolutely win the Eastern Conference. And now you add Vooch to the roster. I like it for Boston. And the trades that we've seen Chicago make over the course of the last couple of days here, whether it's acquiring Jaden Ivey, making this deal, and I think we'll see more deals because there's a glut of players in the backcourt now, most notably, I believe, Kobe White. It feels like, to me, the Chicago Bulls have finally gotten tired of 40 and 42, of making the play-in, and maybe you get in as the 8th seed and you get wiped off the face of the earth, or maybe you don't even get out of the play-in. So for me, if I'm a Bulls fan, I think you look at this with some optimism, trying to do something different because the status quo simply isn't working for Chicago with the Bulls. So I dig it from a Bulls perspective, dig it from a Celtics perspective as well. Last note here in the opening segment. We don't know what's going to happen with Giannis. Friend of the show, Zach Harper, said on SiriusXM NBA radio yesterday that people are telling him the summer is more likely for Giannis. We will see ahead of tomorrow. And what I found interesting was we got that report. And then after Golden State's loss last night to the Knicks, Draymond Green speaking postgame, basically saying if this is it for me in Golden State, what a run it's been. I thought he was actually really mature with those comments. And it would seem to indicate that Draymond believes he's going to get traded. And if it's not for Giannis, what's that trade going to be? Like a fascinating, I don't even know if it's a subplot. It might be the main plot if Giannis isn't going to get dealt. So I still think we're going to have some surprises as we approach the NBA trade deadline coming up tomorrow. We're just getting started here Wednesday, Day 3 Radio Row in San Francisco, California. Who's coming up next here, Bill? Oh, Rob, this is going to be awesome. Robert Mays, host of the Athletic Football Show, one of my absolute favorites. Great conversation coming up about his career, that show, and Super Bowl 60, and the Giants hiring Matt Nagy as their offensive coordinator. Robert Mays from The Athletic joins Nick Kostos next on Westwood One Sports, presented by BetMGM.
This is You Better You Bet, live from San Francisco on Westwood One Sports. Here's your host, Nick Kostos.
You Better You Bet, Westwood One Sports. Nick Kostos here with you, San Francisco, California, the site. Technically Santa Clara.
Yeah, we're in San Francisco now.
Yeah, that's Super Bowl in Santa Clara, but Radio Row, thank God, in San Francisco and not Santa Clara. No offense to Santa Clara, presented by BetMGM. My guess at this time, the first time that we've ever spoken on or off air, I am very pleased to welcome to You Better You Bet. And I said this to him, and it's the truth. Now, Robert Mays is with us, host of the Athletic Football Show. I am a gigantic sports fan, as our audience knows. I purposefully do not listen or watch a ton of sports content outside of games because I want my stuff to be my stuff.
Sure.
One of the only shows that I consume on a regular basis is the Athletic Football Show with Robert Mays, Derek Klassen, and Dave Hellman. You guys do such an unbelievable job. And when I said to you off air, I'll say it on air, kind of like seeing everything on field, salary cap, draft, coaching staff. I didn't know who Clayton Adams was until you talked about him. And just as one example. So I am a huge fan of you and your show. It's great to have you here on You Better You Bet. How's it going? Happy Super Bowl week.
It's great to be here. I sincerely appreciate having me, and I'm incredibly flattered that I understand exactly that, where you're making content all the time. You don't always have the most time to consume other people's. And so the fact that we kind of fill that very small sliver for you means a lot.
Do you feel like when you're doing that show, like, that you're nailing it the way that, like, I think a lot of your listeners do, or the way that I do?
No.
I find that to be, I think that's so interesting, like personality-wise, right? Because I'll be honest, I'm really critical of myself and my show, right? I think most of the time we do a really good job. And I walk away from a lot of shows being like, man, like, I nailed it today. And I'm pretty honest. If not, and like my producer will tell you, I'll call him and be like, we suck today. What can we do better? How is it possible that you don't think you guys are killing it? Because it's so obvious to me that you are.
I just think there's always a better version of it. There's always something you could do a little bit differently. I think that you watch something, and I don't listen to a lot of stuff all the way through now, again, just because of bandwidth issues, but you'll see somebody make a point about something, about a subject that you were covering, and you're like, oh man, we kind of missed that angle on it. Like, to me, there's just so much stuff out there. You always feel compelled to be doing things in a little bit clearer or a little bit more interesting of a way. And so I think that there's just like a consistent need to reach a standard that I don't know, I don't always feel that we do. And I think that's a hard way to move through the world because you're very rarely satisfied with everything that's going on. But I think ultimately it serves the quality of the show over time.
I want to ask you now, I wasn't going to bring this up, but something you just said in that answer, kind of like, if I'm thinking of like samurai movie, right? Like Act 3, The Cost of Greatness. And kind of like, because I kind of feel this way a little bit, right? The toll that can kind of take on your personal life when you're so ensconced in this needs to be great. And I'll be like, your show is great. And you'll walk away sometimes feeling like, oh, like we missed it. And I think what can get lost sometimes with the audience, and it's not a negative to the audience, is don't understand the toll that can take kind of, is that fair to say? Like that takes a personal toll on me at least. Would you say it's kind of the same for you?
I think in some ways, yes. I think that, I mean, this is an intense conversation in the sense that like there's a lot to dig into here.
Yeah,
we
will talk football.
No, I like it. I like it a lot. I think that there are locus of control is like an idea where if you have an internal or an external locus of control. So what can you control and what are the things that motivate you? And I think that I've had, weirdly, not to name drop, but I've had a very similar like conversation about this with like Sean McVay. Right, like when Sean was young.
That was a nice little sneak in there. That's pretty cool.
He and I have done conversations on the show. People can listen to them. He and I did like a very long podcast a couple years ago, and we talked about this exact idea where it was like, okay, if you are motivated by things outside of your own personal standards, if you're motivated by whether you win on Sunday, if that is where you find value and whether you find your self-worth, the success that you're having with outward things, eventually that's going to be something that runs out.
Because he won the Super Bowl and felt like he wasn't satisfied afterwards.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so I think that's how I was when I was young, where I'd be looking at, am I as successful as everybody else? Am I doing as much as everybody else does? And there are some things in my personal life that I think led me to this place. But now I'm at a point where I don't really look at what other people are doing. Like, I don't feel competitive with other shows or other football content products because I think there's not a lot, it doesn't serve me to think that way. When I look at it, all I'm really trying to do every day is the best version of what I can do. And I think if we do that, and I've always said that the show that we do is driven by two things. It's a combination of the things that we're excited about and the things that we're curious about. And if I'm doing the best version of a show that is rooted in those two ideas, and I'm meeting my own standard every day, that's enough for me. That's all I have to do. I just don't think I reach that standard very often.
You do. And, like, I love that you have that attitude, but you absolutely do. It's like Bill Walsh said, like, the score takes care of itself if you do all the things that need to be done.
You can only do what you can do, right? It's just like if I put in everything, and listen, there are times where I know I didn't, right? Like there are times where like that was a 7 today. And if I'm constantly hitting like a 9, that's all that really matters to me. I think that's the goal.
Tell me about Robert Mays' football life. How you came, because I think this stuff's so interesting, man. Like, I love the NFL. It's been like my favorite thing, like, based since I was a little boy. Tell me about your football life, kind of like how like your love of the game shaped you to where you are now. I'll say it so you don't have to. One of the preeminent voices covering the National Football League.
I appreciate that. It's
but like it's the truth. It's not even like it's not blowing smoke.
My history with the game is deep. I mean, it was football was life when I was a kid. You know, I grew up in Chicago, in the Chicagoland area. On Sundays at noon.
And how old are you, just for reference for our
I'm 38.
Okay. So you weren't there for 85.
I was not there for 85. Yeah. So like my earliest football memories.
My producer Bill is 50. He was there for 85.
We went to the same high school. Yeah. So we're from the same area
like
outside of Chicago.
He's 20 years older than you.
But I grew up. So like the first like football memories I have watching Bears games are like 93, 94, like Eric Kramer era Bears.
Yeah.
And so that was on Sunday. Fox game was on at noon. In our living room, my grandparents would come over, bring like a huge spread of like Italian cold cuts.
Yeah.
We'd just make sandwiches when we'd sit in front of the TV. And so that was early on. And then we got season tickets. My dad got them through work in like maybe like 96, 97. And so we would pick out probably 4-ish games to go to every year, just me and him. And so I grew up black and blue, NFC North. I had like a weird dalliance with the Bucks at that time.
Oh, okay.
I was a kid, right? And so like the Bucks just changed their uniforms. It was like the 98,
and this is when Dungy got hired in 96, so they started to get good.
They were a very cool team, and so I was obsessed with football for a very young age. I started playing when I was 12 and then played all the way through high school. It was my entire life when I was in high school. It was my entire identity, my entire existence. Didn't end up wanting to play in college, really wanted to just like focus on being a student, and I went to Mizzou, did journalism. Had like kind of a winding path through that, but then when I eventually decided I wanted to write about sports professionally, I got a job at Grantland when I was young. I was 23, and it just kind of happened that.
How did that happen? Because when you, just so people know, when Robert's, and I actually don't know if this is true, I'm assuming, I could be wrong. When you say I got a job at Grantland, what you mean to say is Bill Simmons hired you.
Yes.
How does that happen?
I was the sports intern at the Boston Globe my summer out of college. And so my second day at the Globe was the NBA Finals game. The Celtics were playing the Lakers in the finals. And
when the time they beat them, they lost in 10, they won in 08.
Yeah, in 2010. Yeah. So, and then I was walking around the garden before the game and saw Bill. And Bill is the reason I wanted to be a sports writer.
It's how funny is that, because we're around the same age, and like ESPN Page 2 is like a relic of the past.
That was it. I mean, it was like
Scoop Jackson.
When I was, that was when I was like 14, 15 years old.
Yep.
And so I was reading Bill, just reading like the Running Diaries and like the GM Summit and just like the Vegas stuff. And I was like, it's crazy that you can get paid to write about sports like this. And so he really kind of shaped really my desire to do it professionally. And so I met him and just introduced myself and said hello. And, you know, we just kind of exchanged pleasantries. And, you know, I got his email, and so I thought that was it. And so I sent him an email that night, just like, I'm so glad, it was so nice to meet you, I really appreciate your time, everything else. And about 2 months later, I wrote what was kind of my biggest story at the Globe that summer, and he tweeted a link to the story. And I emailed him saying thank you, and he had already emailed me on my Boston Globe email account, and it was essentially, that was a good story today, when is your internship over, I have a job for you.
Wow.
And so that was it.
When you saw that email, like what emotions run through your body?
Well, the funniest part about it is I didn't have remote access to my email. And so I had to drive to the Globe office
oh my God.
To read the email. And it changed my life. I mean, it changed my life. And at that point, Grantland was like barely an idea. You know, this was the summer of 2010.
Yep.
We wouldn't launch it until June 2011. And so I was kind of the first person hired to work there.
So I think what's fascinating, right, is at this point you're a sports writer, right? For people that have not listened, and you should listen to the Athletic Football Show, you have, in addition to like an encyclopedic knowledge of every roster and every coaching staff, you know, you understand the schematics of what teams are running. Like, I don't watch football on that level where I can say this team's running a cover 6 or this team. I don't watch football like that. you do, and you have a great ability to distill that down so people like me can hear it and say, this is unbelievable. When did you get into that part of consuming football?
It was early. I mean, when I was covering the sport for Grantland in 2011, 2012, it was awesome because Bill Barnwell was like the main football writer at Grantland at the time. And Bill and I we did a podcast together for years. He's a very close friend of mine. I love him dearly. But one of my favorite parts about working with Barnwell is he is prolific. Like the production that he has is incredible. And so he would essentially do the job of two main football writers where he would cover the sport in the, I was going to say like accessible way, but like that's not really true because his stuff is very deep. But his ability to do this is the Sunday recap, right? Like here is what happened on Sunday. He handled all that. And so I was able to kind of do weirder things. I was able to kind of like dive deep on things and really get into the granularity of it. And at the time, and this is like really getting into it, all 22 access on like NFL Game Pass in like 2011 was better than it is now.
Yeah.
And so you were really able to watch the film in a way that was very seamless and very easy. And so I think that the year where that really changed is I remember watching the Texans in 2012 when J.J. Watt like really ascended.
But we won Defensive Player of the Year.
It was when he really became like a superstar level player. And I remember watching like all 22 Texans games in 2012, like learning about the league, talking about the league. And I think that was kind of the moment where I was like, all right, I'm trying to understand the game on this level and really get into like why it's working, why it's not. And I remember I did a series for Grantland at that time where it was called the All 22 All-Stars. And it was essentially like mini profiles of guys who may not be superstars, but they're really good players. Like Jarrell Casey, Muhammad Wilkerson,
both
Cam
defensive
Wake.
tackles,
Like it's just guys where like maybe you don't really appreciate what they're providing to the game unless you're watching it from that level. And so I think that was kind of the entry point to wanting to talk and think about the sport that way.
I guess like we should probably talk some football now, and you've been very generous with your time already. You bet Westwood One Sports. Nick Kostos, joined by Robert Mays, host of the Athletic Football Show. The show is incredible. If you love football, subscribe to it. Follow him on Twitter at Robert Mays. So this will be a fun question for you. Now, the way you described yourself, I'm a couple years older than you, is me as a Giants fan. So first year I watched the NFL is 1990. I see my team win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Watching games with my dad and my grandfather, right? So I would say as time has gone on, and I only say this because I listen to the show, I feel like you're a bigger Bears fan than I am a Giants fan now, and I would love to kind of recapture that a little bit. So anyway, the Giants hire John Harbaugh, right? And I say on the show, I'm really into this hire, but I want to know who the offensive coordinator is, right? And I think it's going to be Todd Monken, and I'm fired up, and I hate the Browns now because of this, right? So it comes down on yesterday, on Tuesday, that the Giants hire Matt Nagy, who's one of your former coaches with the Bears. And I think I'm devastated by this. What is your opinion of Matt Nagy hired by the Giants to run the offense?
I think it's pretty underwhelming. I just think that if you look at, I don't understand why Matt Nagy was the second choice. Like if you're going to miss out on Todd Monken, I just thought that John Harbaugh, being somebody who's been in the league for as long as he has, the Rolodex of like interesting options would be longer than that. Like, I think that Todd Monken's done a really, really good job with the Ravens. I just think that the version of the offense Matt Nagy wants to run, at first glance, I think it makes sense with Jackson Dart, right? It's going to be gun heavy. It's going to be RPO heavy. That's fine. I just don't think that Matt Nagy is a very good problem solver as an offensive coordinator. Like, I think that the moment you get one layer deeper than that initial sell, it worries me.
Yeah, I'm a little worried. What do you think we see coming up in Super Bowl 60 with the Patriots and the Seahawks?
It's funny. I was talking about this earlier today, like my process of how I was kind of consuming and thinking about the game itself. And when I first thought about the matchup, I was like, the Seahawks are a much better team. And then I saw the line, and I was like, this is lower than I thought it was going to be. And what am I missing about this? And so I just started thinking about the different versions of the game that could be a 4-point game. And I can see that, right? I can see a version of the game that is a 23-19
How do you
win.
think that happens? And like, I love asking you this question because you're going to like, I'm looking forward to the answer.
I think that the Patriots defense, both structurally and the quality we've seen from them recently, is good enough and positioned well enough to give Seattle problems. I think that there's a version of this game where Sam Darnold turns the ball over twice and gets sacked 4 times.
And no one would be so. What I've said is, if he turns into Kerry Collins from Super Bowl 35, like, will anyone really be shocked? I'm not saying that's going to happen, but it's in the range of outcomes.
I think that he's played really good football for most of this year, but he is somebody that will turn the ball over. And I think that that's okay. Like, this idea that turnovers are the worst thing you can do as a quarterback, the great moments you get from him are driven in part by the fact that every once in a while he's going to turn the ball over. And so I think it's just it's the cost of doing business when Sam Darnold is your quarterback and you're allowing him to play at a high level. You're going to have opportunities, and there are going to be opportunities for the other team for them to have 2 or 3 devastating low-light moments that kind of change the course of the game. And I think that's the version of it where the Patriots are in it, where they can kind of muck it up and it can be a low-scoring game on both sides.
Seahawks win a close game in your estimation? I'll give you the opportunity to change your mind.
I honestly think they win, and I think they win pretty convincingly.
Seattle does.
Yes. I think if Seattle won this game 24-16 or 27-16, I could see that happening. Like, I just think that top to bottom, Seattle is a much better team than the Patriots. Again, that's just what I come down to. I think that this season has been strange, right? Like, the mainstays and the Blue Bloods haven't been a part of the playoffs the way that we're used to. And I think in a lot of ways that's warped the way that we talk and think about these teams. The Patriots being in the Super Bowl is surprising. Like, the Patriots are not the type of team that typically gets to the Super Bowl. The Seahawks are.
Yeah.
Like, top to bottom, the Seahawks are a really, really good team. If you look at the advanced metrics, like, they're one of the best teams in the history of DVOA. Like, they are a very, very good football team top to bottom. And just because the Darnold of it all and the Seahawks as a whole kind of snuck up on us a little bit, I think that overall people aren't fully appreciating the quality of the team that we're talking about, and I think that may be bleeding into the expectations people have about the game.
Where's this sweater from?
Drake's.
So let me tell you something. Are you familiar with the brand I'm a Leandor?
No.
So it's actually, I'm a Greek guy from Queens, New York, founded by Teddy Santis, this Greek guy from Queens, New York. I love the brand. They have done a couple collaborations with Drake's, and now that you say that, I see it, obviously. I have a Drake sport coat that I got from the store in Manhattan. They had a sample sale that there was like, I actually got it tailored. There was something wrong with it. I got it for like $400.
That's an incredible deal.
And I have this white jacket, and I made Drake's collab with brown shearling on the neck. That is fantastic. So I'm a huge fan of the brand Drake's. I actually should have known that. They call this a jumper,
yes.
Right, is what it's called.
Yeah, it's a British brand. Yeah,
that is absolutely awesome.
I'm a huge fan of what they do. I am not in the price range of buying their sport coats, but it's very good stuff.
Well, you got to come to Manhattan and go to the sample sale and get it for way off. I'm being sincere when I say this. I would love to ask you questions about every coaching hire, like all the minutia of the league that I love and that you revel in and do a great job with. You've been very generous with your time. I really appreciate it. I would love to get you on the show in the future.
Let's do it.
Everybody check out the Athletic Football Show. Robert May is here with us on You Better You Bet. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, more You Better You Bet on the other side here from Radio Row in San Francisco.
He fails to recall that Mark Andrews was wide open, had the football in his hands, and dropped the 2-point conversion that would have won the game for the Baltimore Ravens. They lost 41. No, that would have tied the game, I believe. Yes, it wouldn't have even won the game. It would have tied the game if Mark Andrews caught that 2-point conversion against Buffalo. So it wouldn't have even been a guarantee that they would have won. It would have tied the game. With the play from 4th and 4 that the Rams lost on was a tremendous play by Devin Witherspoon guarding Ferguson, the Rams tight end. He was not wide open. He didn't even get his hands on the ball. He was basically playing defense to make sure that it wasn't intercepted. He basically had no chance to catch that football. It wasn't even close. The Rams lost that game because the Seahawks outplayed them, because the Rams defense couldn't stop them. It didn't come down to just that one play. The Rams had other opportunities. It came down to Xavier Smith dropping a punt that resulted in a Seahawks touchdown a play later. It resulted in the Rams not getting it on the other 4th down that they went for. Nothing with Ferguson dropping that football. And it wasn't even like a bad throw from Stafford. It was a hell of a play. Seattle had it perfectly covered. That's what it came down to. There was limited opportunities. And that's why, if you want to make one argument why the Rams lost the game, and I didn't really blame Sean McVay in the moment, but the Rams lose by 4. They were down 31-20. They score a touchdown. You probably should have went for 2. Because if you get the 2-point conversion, that would have made 31-28, and then they wouldn't have had to go for it on 4th down there with the final 4 minutes. They would have kicked the field goal to tie the game, and then we would have saw what would have happened. But I don't know what Paul's talking about. That 6'6" monster. If he caught the ball, he dropped the ball. It wasn't a drop. It wasn't even close to a drop. It was a hell of a play by Seattle. And I don't know, man. I'm lost. Paul scrambled me up. I don't know what he's talking about. Everybody wanted to see Matthew Stafford win the MVP. I think there was as many people that wanted to see Drake May win the MVP. And Stafford would have been in the Super Bowl if the Rams defense got some stops. They gave up 450 yards of offense and 31 points. Anyway, we'll take a short break. Cram it up your cram hole, LaFleur.
Let's head out to Media Row in San Francisco. This is You Better You Bet with Nick Kostos on Westwood One Sports, presented by BetMGM.
Great stuff with Robert Mays, host of the Athletic Football Show. Danny Parkins from Fox Sports going to join us in just a moment. But as you just heard, the show presented by BetMGM. And the biggest game of the year calls for a boost pack that's just as big. BetMGM rolling out the Big Game Boost Pack, giving you 3 different ways to boost the odds on your next big game bet. Here's how it works. First, log in and your Big Game Boost Pack going to be waiting for you. Next, add any big game bet to your bet slip and activate the boost token you want to use. And finally, if that bet hits with the token activated, you're getting extra winnings on top of your payout. So if you want to add a little more excitement to your big game action, who doesn't? Make sure you grab the Big Game Boost Pack from BetMGM so you can make it legendary. Download the BetMGM app today, and please gamble responsibly. Joining me now on the show in his weekly spot is my good friend Danny Parkins. First things first on Fox Sports 1 weekdays, 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern. Have you ever had to do in your esteemed career, Danny, on television or radio, a read as long as the one that I just did, which is 4 paragraphs? Welcome to the show, my friend.
Yeah, of course, man. I've sold I've sold it all. I've sold cars. I've sold male enhancement when I was still in my 20s. I've done it all sorts of reads. It's an executive once told me that we are just the programming between commercials, which really made you feel good about what we've chosen to do for a living.
Listen, capitalism, baby. As long as we're getting a piece of the pie, I'm absolutely cool with it. All right, so you've sold a lot in your career. The most important sell job of your career comes right now. I need you to try, or not. I just need your honest opinion. I'm hoping that you're going to sell me on this. My new offensive coordinator of my favorite football team and my new play caller of my favorite football team is one of your former head coaches. Matt Nagy, former head coach of the Chicago Bears, is going to be calling the plays and running the offense for John Harbaugh and the New York Football Giants. Danny, would you like to sell me on why this is a good hire? Your opinions on Matt Nagy to my G-men.
Matt Nagy is a really good guy. Matt Nagy is really well.
We're in huge trouble if that's how we're talking.
No, Matt Nagy, he's a genuinely like good person who on like the scale of like weirdo coaches is like, you're like, oh man, are you actually normal? Like, that's weird. Patrick Mahomes swears by him. He made an incredible first impression in Chicago. You know, he wore George Halas's fedora. The first play call he ever had in his first game was the T formation and an homage, you know, to the original season with the Bears. He won a Coach of the Year award because Vic Fangio's defense got 36 takeaways. He ultimately failed at developing Mitch Trubisky. He tried to fit a square peg into a round hole. Like, he did not, you know, really bend the mission to the troops. He tried to fit the troops to the mission. Because my biggest criticism of Matt Nagy was that he only worked under Andy Reid his whole career in Philly and Kansas City. Then he came to Chicago, and understandably, he tried to implement his Kansas City offense in Chicago. It didn't work because of talent, flexibility, Bears culture issues, a million reasons. And he didn't have a changeup. He didn't have a curveball. He didn't have a slider. And then when he got fired in Chicago, he went right back to Andy Reid. He should have gone and worked for Kevin O'Connell or Kyle Shanahan or Sean McVay and like learned a new trick, learned a new pitch. And so what would concern me here is John Harbaugh used to work for Andy Reid. And so he just, like, John Harbaugh didn't even need to call anyone in Chicago to get a recommendation on Matt Nagy because he could just call the one guy that they had both worked for. And I think that I would not be, the play calling is one thing. It's, can he actually develop Jackson Dart and build an offense around his skill set? He'll say he will. He said he would in Chicago, but there wasn't a lot of evidence that he actually did. And so I am genuinely rooting for him because I think he's a nice guy and him and I had a pretty good relationship. And so I hope that he's learned that. And I've been told that some of the like intrinsic things that were just wrong with the Bears held him back. But, you know, who knows if that's true. And hopefully he doesn't have that with the Giants and John Harbaugh. But will he be able to develop Jackson Dart is a bigger question to me than his competency as a play caller.
So the hire sucks.
Listen, man, I get what you're saying. It's
so it's because that's because I think like you're really fair to him. You were really fair, and to be fair, I said yesterday, like if Jackson Dart's awesome, and we don't know if he is or not, but if he is, like none of this is going to matter, and he's going to get a head coaching job. So like,
yes.
it can go really well. I feel like it probably won't, even if both of us are being very fair to the situation and to him.
Yeah, like like I said, I would have loved the hire if he wasn't being hired away from Kansas City. Like, how much you see him on the sideline, you see him talking to Reed, you see him talking to Mahomes, but we know that, like, at best, he's the third most important offensive person in that ecosystem, and that's like being pretty generous. And so now he's the first, or I guess second if you have Jackson Dart above him, and what's the pelt on the wall that he has other than Andy Reid loves him and Patrick Mahomes golfs with him in the offseason? Like, what's the actual football pelt on the wall that he has? I struggle to point to it.
This is like when Cliff Kingsbury got the job in Arizona and the Cardinals press release said Kingsbury is friends with Sean McVay. This would be like Giants press release, like Matt Nagy golfs with Patrick Mahomes. Like, he's close to greatness, Ergo,
Yeah.
perhaps this will work now. Calling plays for the Giants. It's unbelievable, man.
And I will say,
Matt
Matt Nagy absolutely believes that he is an excellent play caller. I just don't have a lot of.
And I like that.
Yeah. I just don't have a lot of proof of concept of it because I know that Andy Reid actually calls the plays, and I know that he wasn't in Chicago because the personnel wasn't good. So, like, he genuinely believes he's an excellent play caller, and if Jackson Dart's good, we'll get to find out.
This is like the Nick Young shot where he shoots the three and turns around and puts his hands up and bricks off the rim. Just like, hey, listen, irrational confidence is important, right? Fake it till you make it. You bet on this Wednesday live from Radio Row, Westwood One Sports. Nick Kostos joined by my pal Danny Parkins. By the way, I was going to resetting. I was going to ask you about the Super Bowl. I just want to tell you, I think you've figured it out with the hair. I think this is it. I think you figured it out. I think this should be it moving forward. It looks good.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, you're complimenting Robert Mays' sweater, my hair. This is where the football dorks come on national radio to get gassed up by a beautiful man. I love it.
I like the thing about at the end of that interview, I'm looking at this is it's like a different sweater. And I've got stuff from that brand that we talked about, as you just heard at the end of that interview with our mutual friend Robert Mays from the Athletic Football Show. Let's talk Super Bowl 60. Now, if you were a betting man, which I am, Seattle 4.5. 45.5 the total at my show sponsor, BetMGM. Mr. Parkins, how are you planning on betting Super Bowl 60?
So I bet it when the matchup was set at 3.5. I'm very proud to say that. I laid the 3.5 with Seattle. Mays' analogy, comp, I think what worries me is that it's becoming a little bit too prevalent, but I think they're better. Like, Drake May is better than Sam Darnold, but I think Seattle, top to bottom, if we did the top 10 players in the game, I think Seattle has 7 of them. If you do the top 20 players in the game, I think Seattle has 13 of them. I think they're better. And so, is Drake May better than Darnold? Of course. Is this is the Patriots defense better than any defense Seattle has seen in a while? Because they are significantly better than the Rams defense and the Niners defense. I think that is definitely true. And Milton Williams and Gonzalez and everybody at all 3 levels, I think the Patriots are playing their best defensive football of the year, whereas Seattle, I think, is in line with the Texans, the Broncos, the Chargers. The Patriots have been battle tested with really good defenses, and it's been a while for the Seahawks. So those are some arguments on New England's side. But I think if this game is played 10 times, Seattle wins 7 of them. So I'm comfortable laying the points in that scenario.
So Danny laying it with Seattle, which, by the way, is, I think the consensus here is that Seattle wins a really close game. So I actually think it's a contrarian opinion to say Seattle wins maybe a little comfortably and covers the spread. So Danny laying it with the Seahawks in 30 seconds here. I'm guessing you don't have a bet on the total because I think you probably would have said it if you did. We're at 45.5 right now. Do you lean one way or another on the total in 30 seconds?
I think my small lean would actually be to the over, because I think New England's offense will look a little better than they have throughout the playoff run, both mainly because of conditions in which the game is played. And Seattle's pass rush and defensive line is good, but not nearly as good as Houston or Denver's. And so I think New England will look better offensively than they've looked throughout this playoff run. But I think Seattle can put up 30 in this spot. So I do lean over. But I don't have a strong play on it right now.
All right, you're going to have to guess the answer to this question because you're not here. You've been in San Francisco, but you're not going to know the answer to this. Now, you live in New York now, and you spend obviously a lot of time in Manhattan. Do you think that the smell of marijuana in the air is more prevalent in San Francisco or in Midtown Manhattan, New York City? In 30 seconds.
I mean, my gut tells me it's Midtown Manhattan, because we are we're just a little bit more on top of each other here. And if you ride the subway at any point in your life, that's just about, I mean, you may as well be on a farm that's growing this stuff. So I would still guess, but based on the fact that you asked the question, are you saying that it's San Francisco?
Well, your gut has obviously taken you really great places in your life and your career. Unfortunately, here it's incorrect because all you have to do is you want to get stoned, you just walk outside into fresh air and you feel like you're in a college dorm room, my friend. It is something else, man. It envelops you. It envelops you.
I'm booking a ticket right now. I was already jealous. I was already jealous. Unbelievable. You got to rub it in that I'm not there.
Oh, man, you're the best. Danny Parkins, first things first, Fox Sports 1, on Twitter at Danny Parkins, on Instagram at Danny Parkins1. Stay well, my friend. I'll talk to you soon.
See you, buddy. Enjoy the game. Good stuff.
Danny Parkins here on You Better You Bet. Scott Hanson, Nate Tice coming up next hour here live from Radio Row.
The biggest issue with Drake May, and we've seen it time and time again, especially here in this postseason, is ball security. How is he going to be able to deal with the pressure when the pocket collapses? I think he tries to do too much. And as a result, it gives himself in trouble. The ball will dislodge as a result of him, trying to emphasize, trying to force the issue. What he has got to do in this game against a very assertive and aggressive front, not to say New England doesn't, because New England's pressure rate is at like 40+% according to Pro Football Focus coming into this game. That's top 10 in the NFL, but Seattle is also top 10 in the NFL in the season in that category. But when the duress happens, he feels the heat. A, he's got to be able to feel it. B, he's got to react to it appropriately. And C, when he gets swallowed up, son, tuck the ball. Live to play another down. Don't try to force things, because if you try to force things on the world's biggest stage, mistakes are going to happen. Could be a scoop and score. Could be a pick six. That could be a major deciding factor in this game. So that's the area, if I'm a New England diehard and a fan, that I would be most concerned about is ball security of Drake May, because he has failed, I feel, in that category this entire postseason.
The biggest names in the business are on You Better You Bet with Nick Kostos.
Hey, this is Joe Buck, and you have done it. You have found it. You are listening to You Better You Bet. Great decision.
Hi, this is Kevin Harlan of CBS, Westwood One, and TNT, and I'm listening, as you do every day, to You Better You Bet with the most handsome single man in the radio business. A man who, if I was not married for 38 years, I might consider myself the kind of guy that can electrify a listening audience and a crowd of bystanders watching him do what he does so well each and every day. Continue to listen right here on You Better You Bet.
This is You Better You Bet on Westwood One Sports. Brought to you by BetMGM.
You Better You Bet rolls on live from San Francisco, California, site of Super Bowl 60, Westwood One Sports, presented by BetMGM. What a treat this is, joining me live right now. Not only the host of NFL Redzone, but I just want to make sure I get this right. Gold Zone coming up for the Olympics in Milan as well. The great Scott Hanson here on You Better You Bet.
I don't know about the great part of it, but Nick, great to be with you. And Red Zone and Gold Zone. And for the uninitiated, Gold Zone is Red Zone for the Olympics. And I'm sure all your Red Zone viewers and listeners out there know that what Red Zone is, you can picture what Gold Zone is. The Olympics has, 20 different events and 20 different locations going on at the same time. We shuffle it together and bring you the very best when you need to see it.
So let's talk about that. I think that's so fascinating, right? Because you're a lifelong NFL guy, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, I'm guessing, are you like a big Olympics fan also?
I was an Olympics fan as a viewer beforehand. Yeah. I had never broadcasted it before. I like to ski on my own time, but I'm not like someone who could tell you, what the history of skeleton is, and for going back 4 or 5 games. No.
Now, someone at your level, and I mean this is not to blow smoke, but there's no way you get to your level of success without being immensely prepared. Which means that when you're getting set to do this, I am guessing you know everything about all the sports that you're going to be broadcasting. What is the level of prep that goes into that for some of these more esoteric sports?
It is daunting. Because when I go to Cowboys-Giants, first and goal from the 5-yard line.
You know all the players. Yeah.
I just say, hey, let's see what Dak does, right? And the audience says, I don't go to Cowboys-Giants and say, let's go to Cowboys-Giants at AT&T Stadium. Now, there are 11 men over here and 11 men over here, and they're trying to move this ball to this point on the field. When I go to curling, I'm going to have to kind of tell you, okay, the stone and here, and let's, these type of things.
Because I've watched curling and I don't know the rules, and I've watched it a million times.
But everybody loves curling. Everybody loves curling. And so, our staff at NBC Sports, the research staff, is like nothing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
There's an entire room of people where we have some of the world's experts at individual sports where I could go and ask them almost any question. Historically, rules, competition, the history of the athletes that have competed in it, and they've got the answer right then and there. And then ultimately it's up to me to try and just absolutely saturate my mind with as much as possible so that I can make it hopefully informative and entertaining.
What is the most daunting part of that preparation? And I think our audience can appreciate this.
Bro,
I knew that was going to be the answer.
Ishislava Skidishvili, the driver for the Ukrainian bobsled team. I just made that up. That's not actually.
I was going to say Skidishvili. I feel like was a first round pick of the Denver Nuggets back in the day. Nikolaj Skidishvili.
You just throw in a few extra vowels and consonants, and you're good to go. His mom's not watching Gold Zone back here in the United States, so I don't need to worry about that much. But no, you want to be as accurate as possible, but sometimes I will tap out and be a little bit like, all right, it's the athlete from Peru versus the athlete.
No one's gonna know. That's
Japan.
The best part. It's not gonna be like, oh, Hanson, what the hell, man?
Yeah, and ultimately, what I say about Gold Zone is our audience maybe watches Olympic sports once every 4 years, right? They'll watch. They don't watch bobsled competitions in an off Olympic year, which is fine. People want to know, how does Team USA do? What are the great human interest stories? Yeah. Who had some kind of a huge adversity in their youth to overcome to get to the gold medal or to the podium? And then what are the dramatic moments? Where are the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat? So my job is basically this. The NBC Sports team, the Gold Zone staff, they tap me on the shoulder when I need to tap the United States on the shoulder.
Love that.
To say, hey, let's focus on this for the next 2 minutes.
Love it. How How often do you get recognized in public?
If it's a sports venue or a sports setting, quite a bit.
And I ask this question because, like, you've been on, like, obviously you were on NFL Network for a
Yes.
long time, but Red Zone is a different thing.
You know what I get? I'll be in a deli ordering, can I get a turkey on wheat, no onion, no tomato? And the guy next to me will stop.
Yeah, right.
And go,
7 hours of commercial-free, 7 hours of turkey-free football.
You want to hear
now.
a funny story? I had a guy I live in Los Angeles, my local grocery store. I'm finishing up grocery shopping one day, and I'm a push the cart back to where the carts are supposed to go.
Well,
yes.
well, because you're not a savage.
I'm not. Yes,
You're not
we
you're not
live
a barbarian.
in a society
An
with
orderly
rules.
society.
So I'm
with
pushing
respect
the
for your
cart
fellow
back.
man and woman.
I'm pushing the cart back to the cart corral, and I hear from 2 parking spots over, "Give it to me, give it to me." And I'm looking up, and you can only imagine in a Los Angeles parking lot. You're like, what? You know? I look over, and the dude's, and we make contact, and I just instantly knew, and I go, 7 hours, and I give him the catchphrase, and he literally goes like this. He goes, yes,
yeah.
And just walked back to his car.
I asked you that question because Red Zone is a different animal, right? Because it has literally, not figuratively, and I'm not just saying that it's the truth, has changed the way people consume the NFL. And everybody watches the NFL, so my assumption is if there's someone that watches the NFL, they will recognize you.
Yes.
That's why I'm saying, I would think, like, you get recognized all the time,
I wear a ball cap a lot of times, not to be incognito. I love mixing with fans.
Yeah.
And one of the great things about my job is you bring joy, man. You bring happiness. There's there's enough dark crap in the world.
We're in the toy department of life.
We're in the toy department, and one of the fans one time said, Scott Hanson is touchdown Santa Claus.
Wow.
I let him into my house, and he drops off something that I enjoy.
How great is that?
And I was like, whoa. I was like, wow. And so I love mixing with fans, but when I'm just going about my day-to-day life, I dress like an 8th grade gym teacher.
Okay.
I'll throw on a hoodie and a baseball cap and stuff like that. And I don't get the voice will get it sometimes. And then, sometimes people will make that eye contact. And thankfully, more often than not, they have a positive response than a negative.
Well, everyone loves football.
Exactly.
And you're one of the faces and voices of football.
And that's an extreme honor and an extreme it's something I take very seriously.
Can I give you my opinion on something? And then you can say whatever you want to about it.
Oh boy, here we go.
I'm guessing you agree, even if you won't say it, and that's okay.
Yes.
That all the hullabaloo and nonsense surrounding the commercials on Red Zone this year was absolutely ridiculous. Because if you actually watched it, and I watch Red Zone, I have a bunch of TVs and I have Red Zone on, right?
Sure.
It never, ever took away from the experience of watching the games. And it just felt like, and I'm saying it, and you can if you want to or not, it was just people complaining for the sake of complaining. I'm not trying to be negative. I hated that.
I don't mind going there. Here's my take. First of all, I hope the audience knows that commercials on Red Zone was not my idea. I was not consulted about it. That's at a higher pay grade than me. The executives at the NFL.
Capitalist company wants to make money. What? Film at 11. What a shot.
Where's my one shot? Turns out the NFL is a for-profit business.
Right. I mean, come on, everybody.
So that's not something I'm a part of. The business folks handle the business side of things. I will say this, as a consumer myself, if I pay for a subscription service, I have HBO Max, right? I don't want a commercial during Game of Thrones. I get it. I get it. That being said, we ended up at the end of the year, we had, over the 7 hours, we had 8 15-second commercials that we ran about an hour apart and only ran them during or in between plays. So team runs 5 yards, 1st and 10, 2nd and 5's coming up. They're walking back to the huddle. Here comes your Lowe's commercial, your Wingstop, whatever. I let fans react however they want to. Everyone has an opinion, and they like to voice it. I don't begrudge someone that say it's the worst thing.
That's the
but
thing.
I'm hearing more of what your take is, for which I'm thankful for. But I give everyone a wide berth to have their own opinion about it, and I get it. I'm not going to change what I do, which is to try and be as fun, energetic, informative, and entertaining as I possibly can be.
I have to tell you, so 7 hours of commercial is great. I personally prefer the witching hour.
Oh, yeah.
I have to tell you something, man.
Yes.
So when I'm
By the
watching-
way, no commercials during the witching hour.
When
We made sure that we were like, guys, move that. Yeah.
When I have a huge smile on my face right now. When I'm watching and you guys run the graphic and you say it, it's just like I can't curse on the show. I can't. Well, we're pre-taping this. It's like, oh bleep, like here we go. Which catchphrase does Scott Hanson like more of those two? 7 hours or the witching hour?
You know, it's the witching hour.
I think it's the witching hour
When
also.
wins become losses and losses
well,
become wins.
How did you come up with that?
Nick, I am told there are text threads among families, fantasy football leagues.
Of course there are.
That literally send an alert out.
Of course.
Because you're a savvy Red Zone viewer. We don't like do it by time of day. Like we don't say it's,
3:25. Yeah, whatever.
We don't. We do it like more than half of the games are in the fourth quarter or entering the, let's say, an 8-game early window. When we get that fourth game in the 8-game early window into the fourth quarter or end of the third quarter, let's say, hey, let's see what this drive, this drive resolves, and then let's call it the witching hour. So it still feels spontaneous, I think, to the audience every time we do it, and people have a Pavlovian response to it.
Great.
And nobody moves their butt for the next 60-plus minutes.
It's awesome.
When we're in the witching hour.
And what's funny, and like the way that you guys have penetrated, like again, the way people watch football is when it's over, and it's a good one, everyone's like, man, that witching hour kicked
yes.
us. People don't say the ends of the games were awesome. They say that
what a witching hour.
That witching hour was great.
Yep. And we, in the studio, we do this for a living.
Yeah.
We say, it delivered again.
Yeah, right,
we're
right,
surprised
man.
every time. We're like,
Right.
yeah, it's the NFL. It's the most
best,
competitive
man.
sport on the
It's the
planet.
best, man.
You put 8 games going on simultaneously. I guarantee you, I don't know which 4, 5, or 6 are going to be jaw-dropping, but 4, 5, or 6 of them are going to be jaw-dropping, and you're going to see it live or seconds after it happens right on Red Zone. And we all sit back and go, just like you guys do. We sit back and we go, it always delivers. It's the best hour in sports television.
How much fun do you have?
The next thing I was going to say after finishing that last sentence was, to sit in the captain's chair for that. If I was a doctor or a lawyer or a school teacher or whatever else, I'd be watching Red Zone. I'd have my computer opened up probably with 5 or 6 different browsers open to NFL websites and things like that. I love it. I hope that comes through the television lens.
Absolutely. And now.
And good. And it's fun. It's fun.
I think they're going to kill him. I'm going to do it right now. Tell us what you've got cooking with our friends at Lowe's.
Yes, okay, so I am here courtesy of Lowe's. I have a great partnership with them. And if you know Lowe's, you know all throughout the football season, they encourage us to earn our Sundays, right? The catchphrase there, meaning you go to Lowe's, you get all your home improvement projects done on Friday, on Saturday, during the week, so you can sit down and watch football all on Sunday. You have earned your Sunday. Well, for Super Bowl Sunday, the folks at Lowe's have come up with something pretty big. I'm holding, for those who can't see it, this is a 5-gallon Lowe's work bucket with the Earn Your Sunday Lowe's bucket belt strapped around it. So let's see, look at this baby here. So you got your work bucket, but for Super Bowl Sunday, you're not going to put your tools and your different things. You're going to put your beverages, your snacks, your condiments, your grilling implements. You're going to fill it up with ice and beverages, some football paraphernalia and whatnot. And the folks at Lowe's want you to sit back, and you have earned your Super Bowl Sunday in style. These are available on the website, Lowe's.com. It's a limited edition. There's only a handful of them left. See if you can get one before Super Sunday.
And for the people that are not watching and are just listening, I'm looking at this thing right now. It is exceptional.
Yeah.
So check it out on the Lowe's website. Scott, you're an absolute stud. Appreciate it. Enjoy the game.
Great. Enjoy the game, and we'll see you again in September for every touchdown.
Oh, my God.
From every game.
I just get me to week 1.
That's it.
Where wins become losses.
And losses become wins.
The legendary Scott Hanson here with us on You Better You Bet. More show right after this.
we're getting towards awards and accolades just being completely meaningless now. I've grown a little fed up with that song. Yeah, I've grown a little fed up with LeBron James. Last week, the fake crying, the charade that he put on before playing the Cleveland Cavaliers in Cleveland. He hasn't formally announced that this is his retirement season, his farewell tour, yet we're kind of treating it that way, probably because we see the drop-off in his game this season. You look at the numbers, he's averaging 22 points, 6 rebounds, and 6.5 assists. This is a guy that last year was averaging 24.5 points. The year before that, 25.5 points. 2 years ago, 2021, 30 points per game. His average rebounds per game is the lowest in his entire career. The average of his assists is the second lowest in the last 10 years for him. His shooting 50% from the field is the second lowest in the last 7 years. His free throw percentage continues to be horrendous. It's at 73%. His three-point percentage is 33%. And nowadays we're playing a sport where there is routinely 240 points in a contest. So, on top of that, yeah, he had sciatica, which has limited him to just 31 games played this season. He didn't make his season debut until 15 games into the season. How is LeBron James an all-star over Kawhi Leonard? Makes no sense whatsoever to me. It basically just says that at this point, the NBA is giving him the honorary LeBron badge. You're LeBron James. Here you go. You're an all-star. And so now being an all-star in the NBA is just as meaningless as being named a Pro Bowler in the NFL, because we have Shedeur Sanders, a Pro Bowler. We've got LeBron James, an all-star, in a year where he's not an all-star. It's okay if LeBron James is not an all-star. We recognize he's one of the greatest players of all time. He hasn't been an all-star by like any definition of the word or of the accolade this season. So why are we just giving it to him?
It's You Better You Bet, live from Media Row in San Francisco on Westwood One Sports. Here's Nick Kostos.
You Better You Bet rolls on. Wonderful Football Wednesday on Westwood One Sports, live from the site. I do this 100 times a day. Live from the site of Super Bowl 60, San Francisco, California, technically Santa Clara. Nick Kostos here with you, presented by BetMGM. Joining me on the show, and I am so excited to have this guy on. I'm a huge fan of his. He does unbelievable work for our friends at Yahoo Sports, host of Football 301. Nate Tice here on You Better You Bet. Nate, welcome to the show. Happy Super Bowl week.
Happy Super Bowl week. Thanks for having me. You do what I do. It's like technically Santa Clara. It's like, oh, they're playing in Pittsburgh. It used to be called Heinz Field. Like, it's what I want to call it. That's what I'm going to call it specifically.
Well, because if my bosses had come to me and said, look, like, the media center's in Santa Clara this year, I would have said CNLA.
Oh, my God.
Like, no offense to Santa Clara.
No, not at all. San Jose or any of that. Did you do the media night last night? I heard I didn't, but I just heard war stories. It's like Jaws, where everyone's comparing scars. It's like, how long did it take you?
I back in a past life when I was a producer at NFL Radio on Sirius, I used to have to do them, and I will never go to another one ever again if I can, unless someone would like to pay me to go, in which case I will.
Sponsors, of course, yes.
We'll talk about the game. You told me off air you've got a bunch of bets, which I'm really excited for, but I think, like, you are so interesting because you have lived a football life. Yeah. So for people that don't know and obviously recognize your last name, and I am a gigantic, lifelong NFL superfan, I always assume that the audience is as well, but just in case they are not, Mike Tice is your dad, the former head coach of the Minnesota Vikings. So you have lived like a pretty unique football life. I would love to know what that has been like for you, growing up with a dad who was a head coach in the National Football League. Pretty damn cool.
It feels very normal until you realize it's not normal. As I've gotten older, I realized how unique it was. But when you're 7 and you're going to a game every week and your first job is folding towels and doing the water boy stuff in 3rd grade, you're like, oh yeah, that's what everyone does in 3rd grade, right? You just hang out in the locker room with Randy Moss and Dante Culpepper, and it's been invaluable, especially for now. Like, but basically, like we do these shows that it's like you have to do a lot of storytelling. It's nice to have a Rolodex of pulling back stuff from when I'm 5th grade, 6th grade, and everything, but those were my first jobs, and reading scripts in practice was the first things I got into. And then I played. My dad played. My uncle played in the NFL. He played for the Saints for 10 years. He was a coach. My other uncle's a coach. Kind of just all I knew. And baseball was my first love. I thought baseball would be my path. And then just I kept getting taller, and I was like, oh, quarterback seems to be working out.
How tall are you?
I'm 6'5".
What a jerk.
Yeah, my dad's 6'8". Again, I never feel tall.
It says 5'8" on my driver's license. I think it's a little bit. You can leave some for the rest of us, man.
On those plane rides, everyone thinks it's fun to be tall until you have to ride a plane.
Just stop it, man. Stop it, man. All right. Here's what I think is so interesting, right? Because I think, like, I'm reading Mike Silver's latest book, right? The Why is Everything.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is about how Kyle Shanahan starts, right?
Yep.
Like working with his dad, Mike, in
Yep.
Denver, and then obviously he becomes a coach for him in Washington. And you hear so many stories of like the sons of coaches, like Clint Kubiak's about to be the head coach of the Raiders, and how that starts of charting plays in practice or what you're doing in practice, and they go into coaching.
Yeah.
Did you ever think like maybe I want to go? Like, how did you make the decision to do this instead of that? Was that ever a thought for you?
Absolutely. When I was in high school, and really, so my dad became a head coach when I was in 7th grade and going into 8th grade, and when he became the head coach, and I'm at practice, and I realized, hey, I'm actually pretty like tall and talented. And I might just actually.
What a
work out.
feeling!
I know, but when the thing was, I also watched guys like Dante Culpepper, Brad Johnson, Gus Frerotte, all these guys, Sean Hill, throwing the football, Randall Cunningham, Jeff George. I was like, I don't have that. Like, I kind of knew that they were so special, and being around that, which kind of warped my brain, because then I never had that goal. I was like, oh, I can go to college. I could be D1, but I don't think I'm the NFL quarterback. So right away, even in high school, I wrote, like they say, what position would you prefer to play? And I said, coach, because I just like that aspect. I like the X's and O's. My dad would go over timeout strategy in the car. And I don't know, I always I'm a big board game nut.
You know how cool that is, by the way?
Yeah, it's, again, I didn't realize at the time.
Yeah.
As I've gotten older, I'm like, it was a lot.
That's
it was
awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Like going over draft prospects with my dad. Like,
amazing.
And it was so, it's just not like, some people, I think maybe you think of it, it's like a shining lights coming through the window as you're talking ball. And it's just so offhand when you're talking about it with your dad.
Yeah.
Like, you like that guy? Yeah, he does this. Oh, okay, cool. All right, that's all it is. It's a 2-minute thing. And so I think right away, and I think personnel grabbed my attention a lot, the draft and everything, because I knew the coaching hours were like as well. But no, I always knew that I wanted to get involved with sports. Even when I was in college, I played under Paul Chryst as my offense coordinator. Right away, he was like, would you want to get into coaching? I was like, absolutely. Like I was like a sophomore, and I was like, oh, absolutely, I want to be a GA. So I knew what the path was going to be probably from junior of high school onwards.
And so when did you make the decision? Because like the hours are crazy,
Yeah,
and like I consume a ton of. I'm reading like Bill Walsh's book. He talks about this,
same.
right? When did you make that decision? I want to be in sports, but maybe I don't want to do this.
So it kind of got forced on me. It was when John Gruden came with the Raiders. We all got fired. And so I was still getting paid by the Raiders. I was dating my now wife. She lives in Vegas. So I moved there thinking it would be 2 months, 3 months. And then no calls came in. And then I joined the Alliance League so I could get double dip and pay. And then that went bankrupt. And so I kind of, after that happened and everything kind of dried up, I kind of was just like, all right, I have a lot of useless knowledge. My dad's no longer with the team. I'm no longer with the team. So I don't have to worry about any blowback about what I say. And now it's a whole new world. Everyone can just say whatever. But in 2019, when I started doing this, it's still like before COVID, it was still kind of like a little weird with that stuff online. And I started just tweeting clips. And luckily, because I played, because I coached a little bit, got to meet some people already in media.
Yeah.
So I kind of was able to like get some traction right away. So really, it was just kind of a thing I do offhand. Robert Mays from The Athletic was like, I had met him through just over the years.
And he'll join us this week. He's spectacular.
He's the best. He's the best. And one of my great friends, and just honestly, with the pro's pro. And he was just like, hey, I'm starting with The Athletic. We're starting a new pod. Do you want to come on for $100 a show? was like, yeah, sure, side job. This is great. As I was training to be a State Farm agent. And
Stop it.
Yeah. And then I realized I'm terrible in sales because as soon as someone pushes back, I'm like, yep, you're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. You don't need this. And so it just, at the same time, both of those things happened, came to a head. Our show took off, and it just kind of one thing led to another.
How close did you come to being an insurance agent?
Oh, I opened one. I had one open for about 7 months in Vegas.
Did you hate it?
Hated it. No offense to State Farm. It's a great business.
A lot of people hate jobs at points in their life at school.
It was, I think, again, being a coach's kid, I was so used to a unique schedule. I was not used to a 9 to 5. And that screwed me up almost more than anything. It was just that the day after day, not just grind, but day regularness of the job really is weird to me as far as the uniqueness of working in sports.
I'm very sad right now. You bet on this Wednesday. Nate Tice on the show, Football 301 Yahoo Sports, because I just got told we have like 4 minutes left and we haven't talked the Super Bowl at all. I just think you're really interesting.
Thank you.
I guess the last
I'll take it as a compliment.
It is. The last life question I have for you, just because I don't think I can let things like this skate by because it's such an impactful line and what an awesome unique life. You said when my dad got named the head coach of the Vikings, you're going into 8th grade. When you find out your dad's going to be the head coach of an NFL team, what's that like for you and your family?
I woke up, it was I think it was a February or late January day, and I woke up, my mom, and I remember this, because it's Minnesota, so it's dark, and my mom woke me up, and she was just like, hey, you're not going to school today, and I was like, okay, who died? And she's like, your dad's going to be named head coach. And I was like, oh, okay.
That's so awesome, man.
And again, when you're young, you think, oh, of course. When I was a kid playing, I was like, of course your dad plays in the NFL for 14 years.
Yeah.
Of course your uncle plays for 10 years. And as I got older, I'm like, oh, okay, that was so rare and lucky and everything. But it was just kind of like, oh, yeah, this is what happens. You're just an assistant for 7 years, and then you become a head coach. As I got older, I realized how rare it was. So it's kind of, I did it all backwards.
Awesome.
Yeah, but my dad deserved all that success. He was just, I got to work with him for 2 years as both of us as coaches with the Raiders. And it was the one time I was like, I'm going to use this Nepo thing to work together. And it was remarkable because it was just so cool to see. It was like, oh, you definitely earned this. It's not just his personality. He was so detailed and everything. Got to learn a lot from him. So yeah, I don't know. It's just, again, it felt regular at the time. I realized afterwards it was uncommon.
I have to. I'm contractually obligated. I want to talk more about this, but we are running short on time. Who do you like in Super Bowl 60 and why?
Surprisingly, the Patriots more than I thought.
To win or no?
For sure cover and actually even maybe win.
Because a lot of people like New England to cover. I don't think we've had one person come on the show yet that likes them to win.
And honestly, it's one of these things where I'm fading the public because, oh my God, is anyone else picking against the Seahawks right now?
Nope, everyone's
taking Seattle. It's a 4.5 spread. It's not 9.5. It's not 14.5.
Yeah.
But also I also think the Patriots have some what I like to call natural answers. They don't have to do anything different from what they already do to have success against the Seahawks. The Seahawks defense is tremendous. Their offense is explosive. But they have a couple things. The Patriots have incredible defensive tackles. Milton Williams, Christian Barmore, Kyrus Tonga. And the weakness of the Seahawks, not just their offense, the entire team, is their center and the right guard. And we've seen time and time again these big games, what happens to a quarterback that maybe gets pressure over and over, immediate pressure over and over.
Look at the Chiefs' losses.
Exactly. And that's the example I keep bringing up.
Or even when the Giants beat the Patriots at 42 and 46.
Pressure.
Yeah.
And the Patriots have more. I think Milton Williams is somehow still getting underrated as this guy that's incredible. And
what's great, right, is that you never see this really, and I think it's such a credit to Elliott Wolf that you never see generally when teams spend that much money in free agency.
The guy's still underrated?
And everybody's awesome.
Yes.
All the guys I said, when teams
Carlton
do that
Davis,
in free agency.
Everybody.
Yes. Stephon Diggs.
Yes.
Spillane, Landry, and they've all been good for the Patriots.
Absolutely. And Carlton Davis is going to be a big name in this because, again, they've weaponized their man coverage guys, Christian Gonzalez and Carlton Davis. The Patriots are the blitz happiest team in the second half of the year. Those things is what makes Darnold spiral, is blitz on 3rd and 4th down, creating 3rd and longs. So some of the advantages, again, things have to break right, just like all football games. But there's things that the Patriots can do. I think the Seahawks will get after them on the first drive, but the Patriots are the best defense at adjusting. They're a top 3 defense in all stats after the first 15 plays, and the Seahawks become more of an above-average offense. So I do think it's going to be a muck-it-up game, which is like Vrabel's world. I just think, again, natural answers that the Patriots have, they can get after them. And then offensively, Drake May, the two things to get up the Seahawks defense is you have to push the ball and you have to create as a quarterback. Matthew Stafford, Cam Ward, and Baker Mayfield are the guys that had success. Drake May kind of naturally does that as well.
I'm going to be a jerk here. I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
I need to get you on the show again. Will you agree to come on at some point in the future?
Absolutely.
Nate Tice will, so we have confirmation
Locked
on the air
in.
that Nate Tice will come on the show. Football 301 is amazing.
I appreciate that.
Podcast form, Yahoo Sports Fast Channels. Now, I'm going to tell our audience that you have to check the show out because it's great. Tell the people about Football 301, where they can find it, etc.
Yep, Yahoo, wherever you get your podcasts, or on YouTube, the Yahoo Sports YouTube channel. Yeah, we have shows Tuesday, Thursdays, and then this Sunday we'll be doing a live recap after the Super Bowl. But then after that, we're getting into draft mode. The Eye of Sauron is moving to the draft, and then that's when we focus on that. So we'll go on from there.
Who is the Gollum of this year's NFL draft class?
Gollum?
That's you know what?
I was gonna say Jeremiah Love because I was gonna try and make a precious joke about like a scoring touchdowns or something. I don't know, but yeah, that's a good question.
My executive producer Bill Zimmerman and I, we are in a dynasty, and it's individual defensive players.
Okay.
I have the first pick. I'm taking Jeremiah Love. Right?
Okay, yeah, because
There's no question about it.
Yeah, he's a top tier running back.
Bill wanted to take Arvell Reese first overall.
He can be like an Andre Karolinko of IDP. Kind of fill the box score up, just a little bit of everything. It's an interesting class, though. It's an interesting one.
Nate, you're a stud, man. Thank you very much. Congratulations on the success.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Nate Tice, Yahoo Sports on You Better You Bet. More show coming up right after this.
He fails to recall that Mark Andrews was wide open, had the football in his hands, and dropped the 2-point conversion that would have won the game for the Baltimore Ravens. They lost 41. No, that would have tied the game, I believe. Yes, it wouldn't have even won the game. It would have tied the game if Mark Andrews caught that 2-point conversion against Buffalo. So it wouldn't have even been a guarantee that they would have won. It would have tied the game. With the play from 4th and 4 that the Rams lost on was a tremendous play by Devin Witherspoon guarding Ferguson, the Rams tight end. He was not wide open. He didn't even get his hands on the ball. He was basically playing defense to make sure that it wasn't intercepted. He basically had no chance to catch that football. It wasn't even close. The Rams lost that game because the Seahawks outplayed them, because the Rams defense couldn't stop them. It didn't come down to just that one play. The Rams had other opportunities. It came down to Xavier Smith dropping a punt that resulted in a Seahawks touchdown a play later. It resulted in the Rams not getting it on the other 4th down that they went for. Nothing with Ferguson dropping that football. And it wasn't even like a bad throw from Stafford. It was a hell of a play. Seattle had it perfectly covered. That's what it came down to. There was limited opportunities. And that's why, if you want to make one argument why the Rams lost the game, and I didn't really blame Sean McVay in the moment, but the Rams lose by 4. They were down 31-20. They score a touchdown. You probably should have went for 2. Because if you get the 2-point conversion, that would have made 31-28, and then they wouldn't have had to go for it on 4th down there with the final 4 minutes. They would have kicked the field goal to tie the game, and then we would have saw what would have happened. But I don't know what Paul's talking about. That 6'6" monster. If he caught the ball, he dropped the ball. It wasn't a drop. It wasn't even close to a drop. It was a hell of a play by Seattle. And I don't know, man. I'm lost. Paul scrambled me up. I don't know what he's talking about. Everybody wanted to see Matthew Stafford win the MVP. I think there was as many people that wanted to see Drake May win the MVP. And Stafford would have been in the Super Bowl if the Rams defense got some stops. They gave up 450 yards of offense, 31 points. Anyway, we'll take a short break. Cram it up your cram hole, LaFleur.
Let's get back to San Francisco for more You Better You Bet with Nick Kostos, live from Media Row, only on Westwood One Sports, presented by BetMGM.
Biggest game of the year calls for a boost pack that's just as big. BetMGM rolling out the big game boost pack, giving you 3 different ways to boost the odds on your next big game bet. Here's how it works. First, log in and your big game boost pack will be waiting for you. Next, add any big game bet to your bet slip and activate the boost token you want to use. And finally, if that bet hits with the token activated, you're getting extra winnings on top of your payout. So if you want to add a little more excitement to your big game action, make sure you grab the big game boost pack from BetMGM so you can make it legendary. Download the BetMGM app today, and please gamble responsibly. And be sure to check the app out heading into the weekend for exclusive odds flashes, making BetMGM the best place to bet on the big game. Just to get this NBA news into the show, and then we'll run an interview that I taped yesterday after the Tuesday edition of the program. Multiple teams have told the Milwaukee Bucks that they will have better Giannis offers in the offseason. That is per Chris Mannix of Sports Illustrated. And it looks like the one team that's really pushing to get a deal done before tomorrow, the Minnesota Timberwolves. We'll bring you more as it develops. But first, I had the pleasure of sitting down yesterday with Greg Hill and Jermaine Wiggins from the Greg Hill Show on WEEI in Boston. I go on with them every single Friday. I love their show. They're doing afternoon drive this week out here at Radio Row, and it was kind of weird, as we'll roll the interview in a second, for me to interview them instead of them interviewing me. Fun little role reversal here, because normally I am a guest on their show, the Greg Hill Show, mornings 6 to 10 a.m. Eastern, WEEI in Boston, the Audacy Sports Station. Greg Hill and Jermaine Wiggins, Wiggy, better known to you and yours, doing afternoons this week in San Francisco on WEEI as the Patriots get set to play in Super Bowl 60. Greg Hill, Jermaine Wiggins here with me on set. What's going on, guys? Great to have you here.
Thanks for having us. They say never meet your idols. And dude, you're short.
Yes.
I didn't realize how short you were.
Yes.
You know, we see you on Zoom. We hear you.
Yes.
Are you even 5'5"? Like how tall are you?
How about this? So we had Akbar Bajabiamila on the show yesterday on Tuesday. He told me I was 5'9".
Wow.
Oh, you know what else? You know
Right.
what else he said? He said Greg Hill's pushing 3 bills.
Well, I mean, I am getting bigger.
He said, well, we're going to call him now. It's going to be the Greg Bill Show. Trace Bills.
This work is taking a toll on me.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad to finally meet him. I had this certain look at him. He looks like a paisan from New York, and I love it.
Yeah, it's great to have you guys here.
What do we think about this game? How are you wagering it?
So
yet?
are you? So are you interviewing me or am I interviewing you?
I want to place my bets. I listen to you, and then
We'll do that a little later. Can I compliment you first before we do this?
Yes.
So look, I'll say it on the air. I do a lot of radio interviews on Audacy stations around the country. I'm bragging. It's a part of my contract.
Brag, bro.
Yeah. Say I signed it. Say, no big deal. Now doing the show, it's all pretty awesome. My favorite one is your guys' show.
Oh.
And I've said it to you off air. I will say it on the air here. Your guys' show is special, where you guys talk sports, but you also talk about all sorts of other stuff, and it's funny and it's kind while you're all, because you can be mocking people, but it's also very nice in a weird way.
Kind mocking.
No, but and I mean that in the best possible way. I think you guys put on a truly special show, and I love being a part of it.
It's all wiggy, honestly.
No, I just do my part. Greg really drives the bus, and I do my best to not take us off the highway.
So
we're lucky that everybody likes each other, which is a rarity in this business.
I hate Chris Curtis.
Everybody.
He
a
sucks.
lot of people do.
Yeah, he sucks.
A lot of people do. What is it that bothers you about him?
Well, I think it's the fact that he speaks with, like, I love to admit when I'm wrong.
Yeah.
My wife doesn't. I do. Curtis speaks with the tone as if I am right about 100% of the things I'm saying, and I actually think he's wrong about almost all of them.
Yes.
If he were right, I would say he's right.
Yeah, he was off a little when it came to the game that Jarrett Stidham was going to have.
Yeah, he's in a quiet taste. It's kind of like penicillin.
I'll tell you what, though, he's got a cute kid.
Yes,
Who has
he does.
pictures of the
Yes.
son, and I'm kidding. Curtis is cool. I'm not.
Don't tell nobody.
I'm not kidding. I hate his guts. We'll talk about the game in a second here, but I'd love to ask you, Greg, and then Wiggy, obviously both part of the show, like, what is your philosophy behind hosting a radio show? Because you have built a really, really successful show. I love coming on it. When you conceptualize the show, whether it's like before you hosted the first one or when you put it together every day, like, what are some of the tenets that you follow? Because I think our audience really grooves on stuff like this.
I just think it's trying to find the things that everybody is going to be talking about that day. In their group texts with their friends or at work, if anybody still has to go into the office physically and work in this country, or with their friends when they get together that night. Like, find those things to talk about and then talk about them in a way that might be different than anybody else who's doing. And when I say anybody else, doesn't matter the platform. Like, everybody is in tune to who they like content-wise, and it might be that content lives on social media. That content lives.
Can I interrupt you to say this? Like, you were saying something as if it's like, I don't think it's your intent. Maybe it is. That it's easy, like doing what you guys do, and it's not. Like, you guys make something really hard look really easy. So can you give me something else? Because I think you have made it, and it's not easy. How you guys are able to execute it.
I mean, I think the key, chemistry is the key to the whole thing. If you like the people you work with, then whoever is listening or watching your content is gonna get it and is gonna hopefully smile. That's it.
I love it. Wiggy, what do you make of Bob Kraft not getting elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame?
Oh my God. It's like we're dealing with morons here. First it's Belichick, now it's Robert Kraft. I mean, and Greg made this point we've talked about on the radio. Next, what's it going to be, Tom Brady, because of some people in the flake?
I don't think they would dare do that. That would be like the Hall of Fame might get burnt down.
But if there are voters who have a stick up their over cheating, then why would you not expect that they're going to be, if they're going to be petty about Bill Belichick and petty about Robert Kraft, why would you think they're not going to be petty about Tom Brady?
So I'm not saying that this is Wiggy is 100% right, but we had Mike Sando on the show on Monday. Mm-hmm. I have a ton of respect for Mike, like, works for The Athletic, and kind of became, in the wake, right, wrong, or indifferent of the Belichick fiasco, kind of became like the mouthpiece for the Hall of Fame and trying to explain what happened. And I put him on the spot. I've had him on the show before. Kind of put him on the spot. Like, do you think people had an axe to grind? And his honest response was, no. He thinks it's the voting system is incredibly flawed and is basically set up to work against coaches and contributors, meaning like the owner, Robert Kraft, where voters are always going to try to get players in first and guys like Roger Craig are at the end of their eligibility. So what he said is maybe it's not Spygate, and maybe
Right.
it's not this other stuff, and it's a problem with the voting. Does that change your feeling?
No,
at all?
no. Here's what I would say. Here's the problem.
And I'm not saying he's right, just that's what he said.
The problem is this, is that, I don't know, 80-90% of the people that vote for the Hall of Fame never played in the NFL, never coached in the NFL, never were executives or scouts in the NFL. If you have never done that, you should not be voting on, the Hall of Fame. You should not be voting on who should be MVP. You should not be voting on Defensive Player of the Year. It should be towards people that have been in the game. And then once they're in the game, then they would know, because you hear guys, whether it's like Jimmy Johnson, Bill Cowher talk about, like, we all did the Spygate thing. And so they would now know, like, okay, that's a part of the game, right? And yes, you're looking for little things to give you the advantage, but they would know at the end of the day, Bill Belichick is a first ballot Hall of Famer, even with the whole Spygate stuff. Same with Tom Brady and Deflategate, and same with the owner of that organization and Robert Kraft. That's what I say. It's got to be people who have been involved in the game.
Wiggy is a big fan of cheating in sports.
Yes.
He has any advantage, he says go for it.
Well, if you're gonna be a moron and give hand signals in front of 80,000 people in week 1, and those hand signals are still the same in week 8,
that's on you.
That's on you.
You better.
That's the moronic coaching staff. Now I'm not saying every former player or former coach would be, good when it came to voting for the Hall. I mean, we sit here and listen. We always talk about Cam Newton fool's gold. I would not want him to be voting on, who should be the MVP. I would not want Ryan Clark voting on, whether or not Brady would get in when he said he's not a generational player.
God.
But there are people that are in this game that would take it serious and that would do well and don't have a grudge or not petty.
You better you bet. Westwood One Sports Wednesday, live from Radio Row. My guests, Greg Hill, Jermaine Wiggins from the Greg Hill Show. Morning 6 to 10 a.m. Eastern on WEEI, Audacy Station in Boston, and doing afternoon drive this week here out in San Francisco. Be honest. Boston sports fans on the arrogance scale, 1 to 10. What's the number?
11.
And how does that make you feel?
It's justified. We have more championships than anybody else, and we're about to get another one.
We'll talk about that in a second. So I think something that's so interesting because, I turned 43 later this year. When I was growing up, the Red Sox had never won. My Yankees always kicked your guys' ass. The Patriots were a laughingstock. Yeah. Like, the Bruins, had a couple successful seasons, but they didn't break through until 2010. Yeah. And, the Celtics went from the 80s till 2008 without winning, and all of a sudden, overnight, every Boston team starts winning.
Bill Russell won 11.
Sure, yes. Well, you were alive when that happened. I wasn't. So, what do you say to the nation right now? This is a national show, right? Who looks at the Patriots and says, this is not fair that they're already back here in the big game playing for a Super Bowl championship.
This is the one that, from my perspective, ought to do it for everybody who hates the Patriots, because they did it they got here without Belichick, they got here without Brady, they got here without cheating, and so that's what I say. This is the one. This will prove it to everybody.
Yeah, I love it. I love the fact that we are back on top, because I love to gloat and I love to stick it in everybody's faces. So for me, I'm happy to be a New Englander, Bostonian, a fan base.
And a Patriots Super Bowl champion.
Yeah, and a Patriots Super Bowl champion. And guess what? If it's not fair, go home and cry to your mama.
Be honest. What city is better? Be honest. New York or Boston?
Boston, by far.
Come on.
You can take public transportation without fearing for your life.
That is a fair point. Speaking of which, in a related story, how do you feel about San Francisco?
I like it so far. It seems like it's really been they're really open-armed, welcoming.
Because if you walk out of the convention center and make the wrong turn, you're in The Walking Dead.
Wiggy was worried about that. I haven't seen any of that.
What are you worried about? You're bigger than all these people. Why would you be concerned?
I just heard there were a lot of bums out here. That's what I heard. I heard you can't drive a car nowhere because if not, it's gonna get bipped. So roll your window down, leave your trunk open. But, I'm loving it. I ain't going to lie. I went down to the Fisherman's Wharf, and it was nice.
Yeah,
I think we're going to try to go to the Golden Gate Bridge today, Greg, or something along those.
Have you never been to San Francisco?
No, once just to play in and out, so I'd never
really.
I
was going to say, that is very touristy. I'm going to go to the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah, and stare at it for an hour.
It's just you can see it. It's a bridge.
Well, I guess that's what everybody said. So, I want to go see where Tupac and Too Short and E40 are. That's where I really want to go.
All right. Greg, you think the Patriots are going to win on Sunday?
Yes, I think they're going to win. I think it's going to be a really close game. Because of Mike Vrabel, because of the defense. Like, I think the defense has been underrated all season, and I think it's a great test for them. And I'm not worried about Drake and the shoulder, and I think the Patriots win this game.
Wiggy?
Pats all day, 27-21 Patriots.
MVP will be who and why?
Drake May. May. That's it, because they always give it to the quarterback.
Can you acknowledge that I was first on the Drake May bandwagon last year on your show?
Yeah, you were on that Drake May bandwagon, but can you also acknowledge that I was first to say this team has just as good any chance to get to the Super Bowl, and they will make the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I said it on your show and on my show. You were right about that. Final question. Can Greg Hill get a better haircut?
No, I think he has a good haircut. He got a nice little fade on the side.
What is this,
What's wrong with it?
Well,
It's
looking
like-
at you from the side.
It's tight.
Like you look like a Dick Tracy villain.
It's tight and fresh is what it is.
Oh, it's
a freshie. I
would
got
say
a freshie.
It's one of those two things, and it's not fresh.
I'll also tighten my pants. So that will
Promote the show for everybody.
It's 6 to 10 if you're in Boston or on the Audacy app. 6 to 10 WEEI, the Greg Hill Show. I unarrogantly named it after myself.
Yeah, well, I mean, I had a.
I think you did the same.
I mean, I literally said, Andrew Williams is here. Andrew, hey Andrew. This will make the show. Did I not say to you today that I think that we should change the name of the show to the Nick Kostos Show?
Yes, and you wanted to do it this week.
Like I
don't agree.
Right?
Why wasn't that in your contract?
I'm not really in a position to complain. Well, that's my agent, Tim Scanlon. Tim, why isn't that? Tim, come here. Tim, why is my agent Tim Scanlon? Tim, why is it not in my contract to call the show the Nick Kostos Show?
We tried, but it was a big pushback. We took the money instead.
He's the best.
No. Based on that sport coat, you might want to go for more than 5% with him. No offense. No offense. No offense.
You see, he's got a terrible haircut. And he's fat. It's okay. Greg Hill, Jermaine Wiggins, your guys. I love you guys. I love your show. I love being a part
We
of it.
love
Thank
you.
you very
And
much.
congratulations on this game. It's a big deal. You're the best.
Go Seahawks.
Go Pats.
Go Pats.
All right.
For all you New Yorkers.
I think they have one of the best local shows in the country. Mornings on WEEI in Boston, 6 to 10 a.m. Eastern. You can see we have a ton of fun. And yeah, I am short, but Greg Hill's fat. And Jermaine Wiggins is absolutely the best. He is absolutely the best. We don't have a ton of time left this hour. We will have some time next hour. We got a bunch of guests coming up next hour, as per usual here on the show. Bill, who's coming up next? Who's the first? Benjamin Watson. I think we're going to have Brian Baldinger. Sean Merriman's going to join us as well next hour on the show. We will have a little time for me to just talk about some sports. Frank Reich named the new offensive coordinator of the Jets, which was expected. Has been expected for about a week. So Frank Reich will join Aaron Glenn's staff and will presumably be the offensive play caller. I kind of really like that for Aaron Glenn. I don't know who they were going to get that's better than Frank Reich. So I actually don't hate this hire the way a lot of Jets fans and the media, I think, will dislike the hire of Frank Reich. Hour 2 is in the books. The Power Hour, the final hour, is coming up next. We will start the Power Hour, the final hour, with former Patriots tight end Benjamin Watson here from San Francisco, the site of Super Bowl 60.
Yeah, this is was really a 1A, 1B for me. I mean, I love Wrigley Field with a fiery passion, but I've been to this venue, and it is iconic. I think it's still a little bit underrated on the national scene, and it is unlike any other sports arena in the country to see a hoops game, and that's Mackey Arena in West Lafayette, the home of the Purdue Boilermakers. Of course, Illinois just won there over the weekend, but you're right on top of the action. They see about 14,000 in there. It is rowdy, it is raucous, and it is downright loud. It is unlike any other basketball arena in the country. You know, some of the, the ones that are, they're all in the round, obviously, but like the United Center is rather cavernous. This is not, even though it's got 14,000 people in there. Again, you're right on top of everything. You can hear everything. It's just an amazing place. The energy is through the roof, and bar none, my opinion, Mackey Arena takes the cake here. Best venue in sports to see any type of game, and preferably, of course, hoops.
Let's get back to San Francisco for more You Better You Bet with Nick Kostos, live from Media Row, only on Westwood One Sports, presented by BetMGM.
Bring it up, Kenny. Ben Watson's with me. We let the music run a little bit. Do you like this music? It's good, right?
It's important to wake us up in the morning, especially being out the East Coast guys out here on the West Coast. You need some.
Let's let the horns roll here. Ready?
You know, there we go. There we go. Yeah. Let me go on radio.
Oh, we're ready, baby.
It's time.
I'm gonna do like my little pro wrestling catchphrase here. You tell me if you like or not. You ready? Final hour. Power hour. It's not done yet. You better you bet on Westwood One Sports. Nick Kostos, Ben Watson, and you.
You're having a lot of fun.
Right?
I love it.
We're talking sports, man.
You got to have fun with this.
The Power Hour and every hour here on You Better You Bet, brought to you by BetMGM. Make it legendary by downloading the BetMGM app and visiting BetMGM.com. The parade of guests here in the final hour of the show begins with former New England Patriots. I know you played for a couple other teams as well, but the Patriots are in the Super Bowl. Benjamin Watson on You Better You Bet. Ben, welcome to San Francisco.
Man,
how's it going?
It's going well, honestly. It's going well. We were lamenting the fact that, getting up early, your body just wakes you up when you come out here on the West Coast from the East Coast. So I was up at like 4:30, went to the gym, and I think there were a host of other people who had the same problem as far as not being able to sleep. But we are here in the Super Bowl week, so
let's talk about this, and then we'll get into the game. But you live in Atlanta, I live in New York, we're both on Eastern time. When you come out to the West Coast for an event, and like next year the Super Bowl's in LA, because I think the misnomer is it's like you come out here to party, right? We're coming out here to work. You got a lot going on.
Some people do.
Yeah, but I got my shows early. I stay on East Coast time.
Okay.
So I get up at like 2:30 or 3 in the morning for my show.
How many days are you here though?
It's going to be 5 days straight.
Are you going to stay on East Coast time?
I'm staying on East Coast time the whole time.
Savage.
I am a savage, right?
That is incredible.
Do you respect that?
I do, but I worry a little bit about you. I mean, I feel you staying on East Coast time, but after like 4 days, I feel like your body is gonna. I mean, because you're gonna be dragging. Like you can't do anything late at night. But
I'm dragging ass, man. I don't. That's the thing is like
you can't go to any parties.
Don't.
Yeah, you can't. Not if you're gonna stay on East Coast.
We went out last night to a bar like down the block from where the hotel is. I'm a lightweight, right? So you can tell, I have two. I have Moscow Mules, right? And I'm like, man, I'm ready to go. And Bill, my executive producer, was like, I think we should go back to the hotel. And I looked at him and said, I think you're right.
Well, yeah, because it was already like 2 a.m. Eastern time.
Oh, at that point, it was probably only like 10 Eastern time. It's like 7 o'clock. I was in bed by like 7:30 last night. That's the thing. And everyone's like, how are you not going out partying? I'm on the air at 6 a.m. local time.
Well, that makes sense. If you're going to bed at 7:30, it makes sense if you're going to get up at 2. Good for you.
Right?
Yeah, I got up at about 4:30. Went to go work out.
What a slacker.
Tomorrow, I'll be here tomorrow as well. I won't be up at 2, probably about 4:30 again. Then I'll be on that red eye back home.
Listen, not everyone can be a savage like me.
You're right.
All right.
You're right.
Are you aware? I'm sure you're you, so you are. I actually think that you are part of and are one of the central figures in one of the greatest plays in the history of the National Football League. Do you know what I'm about to say?
I think I do.
So the Champ Bailey, right?
Yeah.
So, and I kind of want to talk about like what happens if like that play is ruled correctly.
Correctly.
Correct.
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said correctly because it's not even a debate. Home field advantage. Blah.
We'll talk about it. So for people that don't, I'm guessing, and my audience loves football, so I'm guessing they know this. So January 06 divisional round. You guys go to Denver, right?
20 years ago.
Wow.
20 years.
How old are you?
45, bro.
I'm 40. I'm almost 43. You old, man. I'm still young. So Brady gets picked off in the end zone by 100 yards. And if you have never seen this play, you have to see, because it's one of the most unbelievable plays. I remember watching it live in the moment. You come out of nowhere. It's like Champ Bailey is going to score. Like when you're watching this live, Champ Bailey is scoring. He is racing down the near sideline, going from right to left on your TV screen. He is going to score, and out of nowhere, you took some angle that would have like a high school geometry teacher like salivating, man. Knock him out of bounds at the 1. He fumbles it through the end zone. It should have been a touchback. They give Denver first and goal from the 1. Mike Anderson scores to go up 17-6. I'm being sincere. It's one of the greatest plays in the history of the league, and I feel like people don't talk about it.
I'm glad you said that. Because
how the hell did you do that?
Well, check this out. When I get back to Boston, and throughout that entire offseason, this still happens. As a matter of fact, it happened literally maybe, a week ago when somebody said, I use this not only for my kid to teach perseverance, but I use this to talk about the Pythagorean theorem and, the
geometry.
Angles, all that stuff. I wasn't thinking about that when I was running. I just didn't want to get cussed out the next day. For not chasing the guy who picked the ball up.
Yeah.
So basically, there was some selfish intent there. I was just trying to, as we say in New England, I was just trying to do my job.
All right, so let's play this out for a second. If that play is ruled correctly, right, Denver's up 10-6 in the game. Now, the Steelers could never beat the Patriots throughout this run. And you guys would have played, if you had won that game, you would have played Pittsburgh in the AFC Championship game, Ben Roethlisberger's second year. If that plays, you're still trailing in the game. And to be fair, Denver won by 2 touchdowns. What happens?
And we're on the 1.
And we're on the 1.
We got 99 to go.
What happens if that play's ruled correctly?
Well, we have a chance. And the thing with Tom Brady is you always believe he had a chance. And so that's the biggest thing. That's why on those teams, everybody always gave everything that they had. And part of the reason why you go make that play is because, you got number 12 and you have that team that we had. You never know what's going to happen. You got a chance. And so that's all you want. Unfortunately, there were no pylon cameras back then. And so we couldn't do a review to actually see where the ball went. And that's some home cooking in Denver, I think.
Oh, is the food even good in Denver?
Man, that food was for those fans.
I bet, right? Well, not until the next week when the Steelers like shoved it, man, against them in the AFC Championship game. So, and the way your career worked, you were there after the Super Bowl, and you didn't win one with the Patriots.
I won one my rookie year.
Well, you were there in 04?
I was there in 04.
Okay, great.
I won my rookie year, but I couldn't play because I tore my ACL. And then the one I could play in, we lose to the the Giants. You're a New York guy, right? You're a New York guy. You can say it. Yeah. You're a New York guy.
Well, I was about to say it. So I led my show on Monday just saying just how, like, Super Bowl 49, right, which is Patriots beat the Seahawks.
Yeah.
And they went 10 years in between titles, right, after you guys beat the Eagles in 2004. And I think people kind of don't remember those 10 years because they won 3 more afterwards, right? And how they kept getting – and I'm sorry to do this with you here, but kind of like you won a Super Bowl,
But think about those
right?
10 years. I mean, you mentioned it. I mean, we go undefeated in 2007 season.
But even like
and
06 blowing the lead to the Colts,
that's what
right?
I was about to say.
Yeah.
We go to the AFC Championship there, and we're up 21-3, I believe, at halftime.
After the Asante Samuel pick six,
Yep, and lose that game. So there was a lot of heartbreak in that time. On my way I was in the airport in Atlanta literally yesterday. I'm getting on the train. This guy recognizes me. He's from Boston. He's like, that was a core memory. That season was a core memory. He goes, I still haven't gotten over
07?
the loss in 07. Yeah, he's like, I was a kid watching this. I'm from Dorchester.
I haven't gotten over it either.
No, I know you haven't. And I was like, dude, I haven't gotten over that junk either, man. Golly.
Take me through it.
That season?
Because, okay, I think this is you played on the team.
Yeah.
My thoughts on the 07 team were, can I say something? If you think it's stupid, tell me. I didn't play. Yeah. I want you to if it's done. Yeah. So you guys had a couple that you were obliterating everyone like for most of the year. But at the end of the year, and I'm not even just talking the regular season game against the Giants at the end in week 17. But you guys had that Eagles game where you could have lost, and the Monday night game against Baltimore. Like you guys probably should have lost that game.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it would have been like, should you guys have taken the L, and would that have helped?
That's one of those academic takes that doesn't translate to the game.
That is a compliment
to the game.
To what it is. It's not. I don't think it's academic.
Well, it is, because it's the same thing we see in college football. So I do college football analysis now, and a lot of times in college football, the question is, do you want to go undefeated and get the first round bye? But then the flip side of that is, okay, which coach is going to say, I want to lose X game in order to not get the first round bye? Because in the last 2 years in the college football playoff, the bye teams have only won one game, and that one team was Indiana.
Yeah, they won the title,
that ran the table. And so it's like, okay, as I analyze this, okay, if I lose, maybe it's better here and there, but you're not playing to lose. Unless you are sometimes, which I've seen that happen because you've tried to throw a game in the end to try to play a certain person in the playoff, but that's another story for another day.
Would you like to talk about that at all?
No, we don't have that much time.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
I think we have a lot of time.
I'll come back.
So obviously, like, and the Patriots are down in that Super Bowl to Seattle, and Brady leads them back, and obviously the Marshawn Lynch play at the end. I always think this is so interesting, right?
Well, the non-Marshawn Lynch play.
The non-Marshawn Lynch play, yeah, exactly. Where it kind of felt like, just listening to even some of the stuff, especially after the second loss to the Giants in Super Bowl 46, where are the Patriots going to win again? Is Brady going to win again? Is Belichick going to win again? Is your team? Is New England going to win another Super Bowl in this? Did it feel like that to you guys in the locker room? Like, man, like, I don't know if we're going to win another one. Or did you guys always have that you were going to get back? I know. When they won, you were gone. But like, when you were there, what did it feel like?
It felt like we always had a chance. Nobody felt that way, I don't think. Because we were always – we won the division in every year I was there from 04 to 09, except for 1 year. And that 1 year, we go 11-5.
And Brady gets hurt in week 1.
We go 11-5.
Tom Brady gets hurt in week 1. Here's Matt Castle. And you guys on a three-way tiebreaker with Miami and the Jets.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we always felt like we were on the cusp. We always felt like we were going to be in the playoffs. We were going to have an opportunity. But that 07 was difficult. The hardest thing about that 07 loss was walking off the field with guys like Junior Seau.
Yeah.
And I remember walking off the field with the late Junior Seau, with the confetti falling for the other team. And, a guy who was the epitome of professionalism, one of the best to ever played the game at his position. Just a guy that when he walked in the locker room, we're all looking at this guy like, you're my teammate, but I really just want to get your autograph and get a picture right now. We didn't even have Twitter back then, but I will put it on Twitter, And walking off the field with somebody like him, realizing that for him, it probably was going to be his last opportunity. Because those opportunities are so few and far in between for so many great players. The thing about being in New England was you forget how fortunate you are to be in the mix every single year. I mean, I come in as a rookie and you win the Super Bowl. I mean, you think, oh, this is just what teams do. And then you don't realize till later on that there are Hall of Fame players that never sniffed.
Randy never won a Super Bowl.
No, that never sniffed the playoffs. Hall of Fame players in all sports. So you felt like, man.
And you played with Joe Thomas, right?
Yeah.
In Cleveland, obviously, like that never said one of the greatest left tackles of all time.
Play right next to Joe Thomas, you know, so.
Can I ask you one more question about the 07 season? Now, the Giants almost beat you guys in the end, and they got you in the Super Bowl. If it had been Green Bay or Dallas, I think you would have smoked them.
100%.
I think, were the Giants the only team that could have done that?
Only because the Giants were the only team. They're one of two teams that weren't scared of us.
Should I guess the second? Or
the second was Baltimore.
I was going to say, like, can I give you – this is stupid. I kind of felt watching the 07 AFC Championship game, which I bet Chargers plus 9.5. You won by 9, so I won my bet. You won 21-12. That if Rivers and LT had been healthy for that game, I kind of felt in the moment like they might have beaten you. Is that crazy?
I don't know. It could have happened, but being on the field against those defenses,
you think that's
those
a stupid
defenses,
take. You can say it.
I don't think it's a stupid take, but from my position, watching a defense, being an offensive player, playing against the Giants defense. Remember, we played them 3 times. We played them in the preseason, played them in the regular season, played them in the obviously the playoffs. They get in as the wild card, I believe. They go on the road 4 times in a row.
Yeah, beat Tampa, beat Dallas, beat Green Bay. No big deal.
I mean, that's your team, you know.
Yeah.
But Baltimore also was a team that I felt that wasn't backing down from us. All the other teams, most of them, it got to a point in the game where we felt like they would break because we just had too much.
It happened every time you guys played the Steelers, for instance.
Well, we just had too much. And, you know, as good as the other teams played, we were just too good on offense. We were too good on defense. We were too precise, too efficient. And at some point, it was going to tip. But those two teams, those defenses especially, they never back down.
Let's talk college football for a second here. What Indiana just did, winning the national championship, will we ever see anything like that again? And maybe you think the answer is yes now in this new NIL era that we're in.
We will always see things again. One of the biggest mistakes and foolish takes, now you talk about dumb takes, or when people say,
oh, I can't wait if I've said this
or
before.
people say, we'll never see this again. This is generational. We will never, ever see this again. Yeah. It will never happen. It's like, okay, yes, it will. It might be a different way. But, I mean, sure, I don't know when we'll see it again. It might not be anytime soon. But, sure, we'll see a team that can run the table. I mean, we'll see, you know, the right things come together, the right coach, the right players, the right system.
But this is Indiana, man. They've been bad my whole life.
They're the worst team ever in college football.
And went undefeated and won the title. Crazy.
I was at the Rose Bowl. I see the two teams get off the proverbial bus.
Yeah.
Alabama and Indiana. Alabama looks like Alabama. Indiana looks good. They got some studs on that team.
Yep.
But they didn't pass the eye test the way Alabama did, but the way they played football was lights out. And so at that point when I saw that game, I'm like, oh, this team is for real. Like everything you can think about them, oh, they ain't played nobody. They're in the Big Ten, this, that, and the other. No, they were good. They were efficient on defense, offense. They were top of – there's a reason why they were ranked the way they were ranked, and they proved it at the highest level.
Patriots and Seahawks on Sunday. Who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl?
That's a tough one. You know, my heart says Patriots. I love what Coach Vrabel's done. It's fun to see a former teammate as a head coach because now in retrospect, it's like, duh, of course he's the head coach.
Can you give us – here's what I would love here. Can you tell us – and I'm gonna take a second to ask the question, give you a second to think about it. I'd love for you to tell us a story about your time playing with Mike Vrabel, Coach Vrabel now at the Patriots, where in retrospect you think, oh, like he said this or he did this, and it's like obviously he was going to be a head coach just based on this interaction I had with him. Does anything come to mind?
Well, we're sitting there in meetings, and I saw one of my former teammates, Telly Banacane. He was a linebacker. Saw him yesterday here on Radio Row.
What a great name.
Yeah, he got to be a football player or a wrestler or something. And we're like, you know, Vrabel was the only guy that used to like bust Bill's chops. Like he was the only guy that used to like come back at Bill. I mean, Bill was notorious for like cussing people out, embarrassing you in meetings. Like that's what he did to keep accountability. Vrabel was like the only one that could like go back at him in a way, and it was always really strange. Like how come he could do it? And it was his confidence, it was his performance, obviously, but he just had this knack about him. I remember going in one-on-ones against him as a tight end. He's a linebacker. He would do anything to like try to win. He talked about like bending people's fingers back. He would like, you know, kick you in the balls while you're on the bottom of the pile.
That's not cool.
Like Vrabel was the dude that would do anything to win. he was crafty, but very, 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 very smart. And you couple all that together with his confidence, his bravado, his experience, the way he understood the entire defense. I mean, a guy who would do anything. I mean, playing on special teams, he understood special teams. He played on offense. I mean, you think about all the places that he was able to, all the meetings he was able to be in, from the defense to the offense to special teams, and it makes sense that he has an analytical, administrative mind to be a football coach, and he's done it on every level. I mean, he coached in college. Now he's took a team that was, 4-13 last year, and totally flipped that on his head. So I'm pulling for the guys to get it done.
You better you bet on this Wednesday. Ben Watson here with us for a couple more minutes. We'll promote your podcast in a second, but I want to ask you about your former head coach. Doesn't make the Hall of Fame. Ben Watson's reaction is what to Bill Belichick not making it on the first ballot?
It was an initial surprise, and the biggest question was why. And so there are all these speculations swirling around.
Can I tell you why? And I actually think I know the answer. So we had on Monday Mike Sando, who covers the NFL for The Athletic, who's kind of become, because he's one of the voters, and he's such a smart. Have you ever talked to him?
No.
He's like a brilliant guy.
Okay.
And he's a no-nonsense guy.
Yep.
And so he's kind of become the mouthpiece for what's happened and trying to explain like what he thinks.
First of all, that's problematic too. Like, why are we having to explain it? Why are people leaking it? Like,
and that's what he's saying. He thinks it's really bad.
That's like when the Supreme Court is leaking a decision.
It's
horrible. What are we doing?
Now, what he said is he thinks it's less Spygate or less how he dealt with the media and more the voters want to get the backlog of older players like Roger Craig in. So that's what it doesn't mean that's right, but I just wanted to give you that context.
Well, that's where I was going to land.
Yeah.
That's where I was going to land. I was going to land in the fact that what's missing in the entire conversation is the fact that there are so many deserving players that haven't been able to get in. And look, I mean, as great as Bill is, clearly, I mean, I think at some point they should rename the trophy after him.
I agree. The Belichick trophy.
It should be the Belichick trophy, to be honest with you. But that does not mean that he needs to go in first ballot. It's not a slight against him. It's, man, you got, 8 slots, or they're picking from a pool of 3.
They got to change the voting. That's what they have to do.
But still, it's not only the backlog, but it's a funnel. And so there's a lot of deserving people who should be in the Hall of Fame. And it's not a slight against him. The bad thing, though, is that now we're not talking about those people. We're talking about who's not getting in.
Yeah,
Coach
right.
Belichick. And Coach Belichick, being the person that he is, at least as a coach, would not like the fact that we're not honoring all these players who are going to get in, being the fact that he always preached putting the team first.
I think what you're doing right now is so odd. Not just this interview right now, which is great. It's great to have you here. But what you're doing on your podcast, The Just Life, and I'm going to give you the opportunity to talk about it in a second, but I'll say to the audience right now, the people that are watching and listening, like, open your ears right now to what Benjamin Watson's going to say, and I want everybody to check this out. Tell the people about the podcast, The Just Life, and the amazing work that you guys are doing to try and, like, change people's lives and situations for the better.
Of course. We believe on The Just Life that justice isn't a moment, it's a way of life. And Scripture talks a lot about that. It talks about, living justly, doing justice. And that is an ongoing, everyday type of action where we are seeing what's happening in the world and trying to make a difference. And so on my podcast, The Just Life, we interview change makers. We interview people who are, whether they're in law, whether they're in philanthropy, whether they are combating human trafficking, which is why I'm here with one of our topics is human trafficking. And so I'm here partnering with IJM, International Justice Mission. They are an organization that combats trafficking around the world. I've got a quick question for you.
Please.
How many people do you think are in modern-day slavery, human trafficking right now in the world?
I'm going to give you a really bad answer to the question.
Go ahead, give me one.
If I think about, I'm being sincere.
Yeah.
If I think about stuff like this, I try not, and it's a bad answer. I put my head in the sand because it will make me so upset.
So some people are turtles, some people are sharks. Some people are turtles, some people are sharks.
Yeah.
They hear
I'm sure it's way more.
They hear things that are difficult like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the conversation that we have on The Just Life.
You're so, and I know that it's a bad answer.
Is that we want people to we want to expose injustice. So there's 50 million people globally that are trapped in human trafficking, forced labor, sex slavery around the world. Yeah. I mean, to put that in perspective, we're here in the state of California right now. California has about 40 million residents. So almost every single person in the state of California would be in some sort of forced labor or trafficking. And so what IJM does is they go in and they are in 19 different countries and they help to bolster justice systems so that these crimes of violence, mostly against the poor, cease to exist. And so with my podcast, A Just Life, we talk about issues of trafficking. We talk about things like racial injustice in America. We talk about poverty and persecution of Christians around the world. Like we talk about it all because we believe at The Just Life is that, God is a God of justice. He wants restoration. How do we fit into that? And we can all do something in a specific way. We don't all have to be attorneys. We don't all have to be, congressmen or congresswomen. We can be people that have a microphone and talk about sports, but give other people, like you're doing, the opportunity to challenge change in this country and allow people to get involved in different ways.
I'm going to try not to be an ostrich anymore. Head in the sand.
Don't be, man.
Yeah.
Don't be.
Yeah.
Because the first step to justice is awareness.
Yeah, because honestly, stuff like it's so depressing. But you know what? But you have to take on stuff head on.
You do.
Or else nothing can
and
change.
like we talked about before, football is important. It's so important. It's not everything.
No.
But it gives us an avenue and a platform to make a difference in people's lives. That's what IJM is doing around the world.
You're a stud, dude.
Hey, man. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you, man. Benjamin
Thanks
Watson joining us on the show. The Just Life. Check it out wherever you find your podcasts. You're the man. Appreciate it very much.
Thanks,
listen, we all can't wake up at 2:30 in the morning.
We're not all savages like you, bro.
That's exactly right. More You Better You Bet coming up right after this.
This
The biggest issue with Drake May, and we've seen it time and time again, especially here in this postseason, is ball security. How is he going to be able to deal with the pressure when the pocket collapses? I think he tries to do too much. And as a result, he gives himself in trouble. The ball will dislodge as a result of him, trying to emphasize, trying to force the issue. What he has got to do in this game against a very assertive and aggressive front, not to say New England doesn't, because New England's pressure rate is at like 40+% according to Pro Football Focus coming into this game. That's top 10 in the NFL, but Seattle is also top 10 in the NFL in the season in that category. But when the duress happens, he feels the heat. A, he's got to be able to feel it. B, he's got to react to it appropriately. And C, when he gets swallowed up, son, tuck the ball. Live to play another down. Don't try to force things, because if you try to force things on the world's biggest stage, mistakes are going to happen. Could be a scoop and score. Could be a pick six. That could be a major deciding factor in this game. So that's the area. If I'm a New England diehard and a fan, that I would be most concerned about is ball security of Drake May, because he has failed, I feel, in that category this entire postseason.
This is You Better You Bet, live from San Francisco on Westwood One Sports. Here's your host, Nick Kostos.
You Better You Bet rolls on Westwood One Sports. Nick Kostos here with you, presented by BetMGM. Very special guest joining us at this time. Bay Area native?
Absolutely.
Green Bay Packers star young safety Evan Williams here on the show. Evan, thanks for joining us. Happy Super Bowl week, my man.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. Appreciate y'all for having me.
All right, so let's talk about your career thus far, your young career and the season that you just had. And I hope you know that I'm going to say this the right way, I think. I think that your Q rating is going to rise as your career goes on. And maybe people in the audience aren't as familiar with you yet as they're going to be. I think you're coming off a sensational season, and just curious, how do you feel like the season went? Not a Green Bay Packers question, an Evan Williams question, how the season went for you.
Sure. Feel good about how the season went, man. I mean, we put some good stuff on tape. I feel like as a safety room as a whole, we put some good stuff on tape. But, I mean, we also understand that there's a next step for us, for sure. Heading into this year 3, finally all of us together, we feel confident that, we can be some of the best secondary in the league. And I feel good about my performance this past year, but, I mean, at the same time, as a competitor, you got to know that, you're always reaching for something else. And, I don't feel like I played my best ball yet. I feel like it's in front of me, and just got to take this offseason one day at a time and keep going.
So I'm a Giants fan. I told you off air.
Mm-hmm.
I was not thrilled when Xavier McKinney signed with you guys with the Green Bay Packers. You think you guys will be the best safety tandem in the league this coming year?
I think there's a good possibility. I mean, just knowing what we're both capable of. Yeah, go ahead.
I think so. I'll
take that.
Yeah,
I'll
think
take that. I'll take that.
What say you?
No, yeah. I mean, I'm right with you. I feel like just the skill sets we both kind of bring. We play well off each other, and I feel like we both have a lot of variety in our game. Just kind of the ability to do it all, and that kind of makes us interchangeable. Makes us some pretty dangerous pieces for sure.
What do you think of the hire you guys made? Jonathan Gannon, the former Cardinals head coach, Eagles defensive coordinator, will be running your guys' defense this season. How do you feel about that?
I feel great about it, man. I already, linked up with them, been texting them a little bit, and nah, man, I like his energy. And, I mean, seeing what he did with the Eagles back then, I definitely went back and watched a little bit, saw some good things. And, man, I'm just excited to honestly get to work with them, get to see what type of scheme we're going to be presenting, and, just hit the ground running.
So I think your guys' season, and obviously, you and, a lot of other players, injury bug bit you guys towards the end of the year. That Denver game is like one of the great disaster games of all time, not just given the loss, but given the injuries, right? I'm going to give you my perspective as someone, I'm not like in the weeds like you guys are with your team, right? From the national perspective. When Micah goes down in that game, I'm kind of thinking like, okay, like obviously the Packers can still go to the playoffs, but can they actually get there without Micah? Whether that's right, wrong, or indifferent, like fair or unfair, I think that's the way a lot of people feel. What do you think you guys need to do next year to show that it's not kind of like, and I don't think it's right to say that, but that's kind of the perception, right, is that Micah Parsons is kind of like, is the defense, and I think you guys have a lot of great players outside of him. What do you guys need to do next year to kind of bust up that perception?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, just finish when we get the opportunity, I feel like. We had a good year, and then, losing him was obviously a big hiccup in the road. But no, I mean, I feel like we put ourselves in a lot of good positions to win, even, despite not, having one of our best players on defense. And we just couldn't find a way to finish, near the end of the year. And that's just something we have to look on, this offseason and just find ways to improve in the little things.
What did you make of, like, the week or so after the loss to the Bears in the playoffs when, guessing, like, maybe you knew, no one knew if your head coach was coming back. And then he gets the extension and the general manager gets an extension. What was that time like for you guys, not knowing if Matt was going to be back as the head coach?
Yeah, it was a little bit of uncertainty, but nothing too crazy. I mean, those.
Did you feel like he was back?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like no question.
Not no question, just because, those decisions are a little out of my pay grade right now.
Yeah.
But no, I had a good feeling that, I mean, he's put a great body of work, out there for the past whatever years that he's been our head coach. And, I mean, I felt like he's the only head coach that I want, and I didn't really see him, anything changing for real.
I want to ask you about your guys' first-round pick last year, Matthew Golden.
Sure.
As I think, a lot of people were maybe like a little disappointed in how it went to start the season, and I thought he really came on down the stretch, like the end of the regular season and in the playoff game. And I was having a conversation with a couple people on air and off air yesterday where I'm saying, like, and this is, you're going to hate this as someone who plays.
Okay.
I like fantasy football, right?
Sure.
And I'm already thinking, like, I'm going to draft Matthew Golden in fantasy football this year. Does it kind of come across that way to you guys where he kind of like figured it out? And like, I'm watching from afar, you practice against him. It seemed like watching that it kind of clicked and he was really playing well towards the end of the season. Do you think I'm kind of on the right track there with Matthew Golden?
I mean, he definitely started, showing out at the end of the season, but no, I mean, I think I knew he was capable from, when he first came in training camp. He was making plays, left and right. It was just about him really getting the opportunity, like getting the right opportunity in our scheme. Like, he just didn't get many at the start of the year. And I think a lot of people, like to point fingers, like to point it at him, saying that, he's not doing enough. But in reality, he was getting open. You watch those routes, and he's getting open on a good majority of them. And, no, I mean, he has a pretty unique skill set. And I think the best is definitely yet to come. Yeah, I mean, he's a baller, man, and he has the right mindset about him. He's going to be a good one.
You mentioned a couple times the inability to finish for the team. What the heck happened in the second half of the playoff game against the Bears?
Man, I mean, you watched it. Can you tell me? I mean,
can I give you my opinion?
Go ahead.
So, look, like, Caleb Williams has made some sensational plays. Like, I don't know, like, what you're supposed to do about some of those plays.
Yeah.
I really like your head coach. I do. And I think it's the right move to keep him. Not, I don't know, my opinion matters, but that's how I feel. I thought he was too aggressive at the end and too passive to start the second half. Where if I'm him, and I'm not, right, I'm not a head coach, I think you go like foot to throat, man, and go for the jugular there to start the second half. It felt like it was too passive, and the offense not doing enough to start the second half, I feel like gave the Bears the opportunity to get back in the game. And look, like the touchdown that Caleb threw against the Rams in the divisional round. Like, you play perfect defense, and he's like an alien. He makes, what are you supposed to do about it? So you asked me my opinion. That's kind of what I think. I actually kind of think it's your head coach's fault. That's my opinion.
Okay. I mean,
you call me an idiot if you want. It's okay.
No. I wouldn't say that. I mean, it's just hard to make those type of distinctions. I feel like if let's say he's too aggressive at the start of that second half, takes a sack on first down, and now everybody's pointing their finger at him like, just run the ball. You have one of the best running backs in football. So, I mean, there's kind of give and take with, any situation that, you immediately point at a head coach. But in my opinion, I think it was just a lack of urgency. And it wasn't even for the whole third quarter and most of the fourth quarter. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot here, but
Sure.
I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of my audience, right?
All right.
When you say it's a lack, and I really like your head coach. I think it's great that they brought him back. Just like, doesn't that reflect on the head coach? I'm not trying to get you to say something anti your head coach, but I feel like that is a question that I have to ask.
What does what reflect on that?
If there's a lack of urgency in that second half, isn't that a reflection of the head coach? And if I'm wrong, please tell me.
I don't think it's a reflection of the head coach. I mean, he came into our halftime, into our locker room, preaching to foot on their throat. Like we can't have any let off of the pedal. And I mean, I don't think he did anything wrong in that situation. It was just as a whole, I mean, we weren't able to. There's a bunch that went wrong. Like, I'll start with saying that there's no one thing that led us to lose that game. I mean, there's some busts in coverage. There's some, obviously Caleb being Caleb, making plays with his feet.
I'll say this so you don't have to. Jaden Reed dropped the terrible ball on the final drive. You don't have to say that. I'm saying it. It's okay.
Okay. But I mean, there's always going to be plays, especially in games like that you want back. But you just got to leave it till next year, honestly. Like, be able to use those emotions that you felt in that moment to, fuel your offseason training and come back with a vengeance.
Couple more minutes here with Green Bay Packers safety, star young safety, Evan Williams. You better, you bet. Nick Kostos, Westwood One Sports, presented by BetMGM. What do the Green Bay Packers need to do this offseason, Evan, to get you guys closer or maybe even to win the Super Bowl championship in 2026?
I think, especially with a new coaching staff, I think it just starts with the standard. The standard, what we always say is the standard you walk past is the standard you set. And so, I've been a part of teams in their first years, throughout my football career, in which, the standard is just not high enough and, we don't reach the goals that we need to. So I'll just say, how we start off, especially in these OTAs, this training camp, the standard we set, offer it. We got to have that energy. We got to have that, the right mindset of getting a little bit better every day. I feel like we got the pieces, man. I mean, you look across our roster, I don't see a position group that's, lacking in any facet. So
if Christian Watson and Tucker Kraft stay healthy, I mean, it feels like you have an alien at receiver and an alien at tight end. Do you feel that way as someone that practices against them?
Absolutely, man. We got a bunch of guys on offense that are honestly pretty much nightmares to guard, to have to go one-on-one against.
The more I think about it, it's like I'll answer the question I asked you. If you guys stay healthy, you guys are going to be monsters next year, right? There's no question about it.
No, I mean, that's how we feel. And sometimes you just don't get that blessing. But no, man. If all goes right, I feel like we got a good chance of being the team that we all want to be.
Jordan, the quarterback, to take you guys there?
Absolutely. Not a doubt.
Okay. I want to ask you about Jeff Hafley. I feel like a lot of NFL fans, Miami Dolphins fans, don't really know who he is or a lot about him. Head coach of Boston College, with you guys for a couple seasons, now the head coach of the Dolphins. What are Dolphins fans and the Dolphins players getting with Jeff Hafley?
Man, just a dedicated coach, man. To me, just the ultimate players coach, a guy that is going to be upfront with you, honest with you, and give you opportunities to shine. With us all year, he put us in, the best positions for us to, make plays all year, and you saw guys doing it. Bull at the nickel, making plays around the line of scrimmage. X doing his thing back there, having Micah, what did he have, 12 sacks, and it felt like 5 games. But, he's just a guy that, takes a lot of the thinking off your plate and just allows you to play fast and gives you utmost belief that you can.
If you had Micah in the Bears game, in the playoff game, do you win? I think yes.
We could go hypotheticals bar
fair.
for bar, back to back,
That's
but
fair.
I like us.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. Final question for you. As you get set for this offseason, my opinion, I think sky's the limit for you. And you have all pro in your future. I think you're going to have an unbelievable career. What's your excitement level heading into this offseason, knowing what I believe you are on the cusp of accomplishing in the NFL?
My expectation is not much different, truthfully. I've had a lot of coaches tell me just to keep doing what I'm doing, try to be the same person that, I am, showing up every day. And, man, that's what I'm trying to do. Never get complacent, just try to stay humble and work this offseason. Try to put myself in the best position that I can physically and mentally to, hit the ground running when we get back.
They will fire me if I don't ask you who's going to win the Super Bowl on Sunday with the Patriots and the Seahawks.
Who
do you like?
Man. I was dreading this question. No, I'm kidding. But I would probably say I like the Seahawks, man. They've looked real solid in these playoff wins. Offense gets going at the right times, and defense is real. So I got the Hawks.
Evan Williams, you're an absolute stud. I'm looking forward to watching you guys this season. Really appreciate the time here on Radio Row.
Appreciate you, brother.
Stud, star young safety of the Green Bay Packers, Evan Williams, with us here on the show. More You Better You Bet on Westwood One Sports right after this.
The biggest issue with Drake May, and we've seen it time and time again, especially here in this postseason, is ball security. How is he going to be able to deal with the pressure when the pocket collapses? I think he tries to do too much. And as a result, he gives himself in trouble. The ball will dislodge as a result of him, trying to emphasize, trying to force the issue. What he has got to do in this game against a very assertive and aggressive front, not to say New England doesn't, because New England's pressure rate is at like 40+% according to Pro Football Focus coming into this game. That's top 10 in the NFL, but Seattle is also top 10 in the NFL in the season in that category. But when the duress happens, he feels the heat. A, he's got to be able to feel it. B, he's got to react to it appropriately. And C, when he gets swallowed up, son, tuck the ball. Live to play another down. Don't try to force things, because if you try to force things on the world's biggest stage, mistakes are going to happen. Could be a scoop and score. Could be a pick six. That could be a major deciding factor in this game. So that's the area, if I'm a New England diehard and a fan, that I would be most concerned about is ball security of Drake May, because he has failed, I feel, in that category this entire postseason.
This is You Better You Bet, live from San Francisco on Westwood One Sports. Here's your host, Nick Kostos.
All right, here's the deal, everybody. This is my Joe Biden thing. Here's the deal. A, there's a lot going on. D, I forget to give my bet at the end of the show because we have guests. J, I'm not thanking our crew. I'm aware of this. I'll do a Trump thing at some point this week. But the Biden, whenever I say here's the deal, I want to do my Biden stuff. Sorry. Ben Fox likes it, which I really like. Ben's going to join us in a second.
Perfect way to start the interview.
Because I'm getting messages from people like, hey, where's the bets at the end of the show? I am going to effort to get them in today, and I am also going to try and thank our cast of thousands here, but I may not. We'll get that in at some point this week. Very quick before Ben Fox joins us on the show. The biggest game of the year calls for a boost pack. Look how long this is.
You got it.
Oh, I got it. Calls for a boost pack that's just as big. BetMGM rolling out the big game boost pack, giving you 3 different ways to boost the odds on your next big game bet. Here's how it works. First, log in and your big game boost pack will be waiting for you. Next, add any big game bet to your bet slip and activate the boost token you want to use. And finally, if the bet hits with the token activated, you're getting extra winnings on top of your payout. So if you want to add a little more excitement to your big game action, who doesn't? Make sure you grab the Big Game Boost Pack from BetMGM. Make it legendary. Download the BetMGM app today, and please gamble responsibly. Joining me now, live on set, one of my favorites, the senior sports betting analyst for Yahoo Sports. Get your sports betting news and analysis, yahoosports.com/betting. My buddy, Ben Fox. Ben, what's going on, my friend? How are you?
Well, first of all, crush that read. Great. Much better than I could have done. Doing well, man. You're surviving. We're here. We're getting through the week.
Do you want to try?
No, you got it.
I was going to say, you can. BetMGM will love it if we give them.
That's why I get to be the analyst. You're the host.
All right,
I don't have to do that.
So Ben is one of the preeminent analysts of sports betting in the country, covers it for Yahoo Sports. What can you tell us, my friend, that is interesting about how people are betting Super Bowl 60?
Yeah, I think talking to odds makers as well. So I just did a piece, came out this week, talked to 12 odds makers. Just give me the final score, right? Who you think's going to win? 11 of them, have the Seahawks. And as the more people you talk to as well, public, also on the Seahawks, about 2/3 of bets at BetMGM, over 50%, think about 60% of the handle on the Seahawks to cover. It's tough to find reasons not to like the Seahawks. But yeah, we've seen that line pretty much stay where it's been, right? Open 3.5 at some books, open 5 at BetMGM. It's kind of settled at 4.5. Total come down a little bit. But it's as we look through the numbers, maybe you feel differently. I think you guys had Nate Tice on. I was talking to him yesterday at our happy hour.
What a stud, yeah.
He, first of all, great guy. Great guest. He liked the Patriots to maybe cover. I know how you feel. The more I look at it, the more with some of those advanced numbers, it's just tough for me to see a path to the Patriots winning this game. To me, it's if you play the game 10 times, the Seahawks win 7 or 8 of them. Now, this could be one of those others. But I just think that the Seahawks are better at almost every position, which is basically what odds makers were saying.
What is your best guess, or from the people you talk to, odds makers, bettors, etc.? Do you think we're going to close in this range, like Seattle 4.5, let's say total around 45.5? Do you see dramatic movement one way or another, which would be like down towards 44, up towards 47, down to 4, or up to 6 when we're talking about total inside?
I think we'll be roughly in this range. Now, it is interesting. There's a couple books in Vegas that are hanging 5, so Seahawks -5, but they've been out there for a couple days.
But we're not going to 6, is my point.
No.
And we're also not going down to 4.
No,
so
I think
be
you
in
could
this
see
range.
right 5, maybe 5.5. But it's hard. There's so much money yet to come in. But I do think it's interesting. You've had those books at 5, and they've stayed there, right? So a ton of sharp action. Love that. At some books that generally take sharp action, they're still at 5. It seems like it could rise potentially.
Where would you guess the late money, which team will it come in on, the Patriots or the Seahawks, if you had to guess? Or maybe you know the answer to that question.
I do not know. I would guess the Seahawks. But just when you're looking at those numbers, you're talking to people, it's hard to find that many people that love the Patriots. Now, that doesn't mean they won't win, doesn't mean they won't cover. For me as well, it's tough to get that image out of the head with the 49ers and how they looked in that game.
What props are of note right now?
So a lot of, as maybe you would expect, a lot of kicker overs, right? Over 1.5 field goals, over the 6.5. Trevion Henderson under rushing as well, under receiving.
I think the Henderson-Stevenson stuff is going to be interesting coming up to the game.
Yeah, and the biggest mover, I think, in the prop market's been Kenneth Walker under rushing yards. So opened, I believe, at BetMGM 78.5, down to 70.5.
That's a big move.
Big move. I think one of the most popular bets as well, but also early sharp action on that. Just figuring the Patriots, I think they're the best rushing defense with Milton Williams this season.
Yeah.
He hasn't played every game, so Seahawks aren't going to be able to run. They'll have to throw the ball. That's why people taking the under.
Tell the people where they can find you, where they can find your work at Yahoo.
Yeah, on bfox22 on Twitter, and then yahoo.com/betting. We have Betting Hub. We also have third-party content with covers, FTN Fantasy, so kind of get it all in one place, and then I'll be doing a lot of stuff. Just have like an updated Super Bowl file. More and more I talk to odds makers and where the action is and some big bets.
You're doing a great job, buddy. Congratulations.
Thanks, man.
Yahoo Sports got a good one. Ben Fox joining us here on the show. Do you want to hang out while I close it here?
Yeah, go
All right,
for it.
Ben's just going to sit here while I do. If you want to chime in, feel free to chime in. So let's, we don't have to drop the dope ass beat. Let's just, Let's talk about tonight's NBA card. We'll give everybody some thoughts. You can, if you disagree with anything.
Go for it.
So OKC is a 1.5-point road favorite at San Antonio. We don't know if Isaiah Hartenstein's going to play in the game, if Alex Caruso is going to play in the game. This may be a sucker bet. It may be. I do like OKC to win tonight in San Antonio. We know the Spurs beat them 3 times in 13 days at the end of 2025 in 3 different cities, including in Vegas in the semifinals of the NBA Cup before my Knicks won the NBA Cup. But OKC beat them the last time they played. I think they got off the schneid. I like OKC tonight as a short road favorite in San Antonio. I talked about the Cavs-Clippers game at the start, just how funny it is that those two teams are playing, given the James Harden-Darius Garland trade. I was going to like Cleveland in the game. The Cavs are getting bet out. I'm just going to leave that one alone. The other NBA bet I would say I'm going to like for tonight. So the Knicks are hosting the Nuggets. If Nikola Jokic does not play, I'm going to bet Denver to cover on the road in New York. Knicks on the second half of a back-to-back. That does it for the Wednesday edition of the show. I'm about to pre-tape 1 billion interviews coming up for tomorrow. We very much look forward to that. So on behalf of our entire crew, I am Nick Kostos wishing you minimal sweats, winning bets, the absolute very best of luck. We will catch you tomorrow, Thursday, day 4, Radio Row in San Francisco.
We're getting towards awards and accolades just being completely meaningless now. I've grown a little fed up with that song. Yeah, I've grown a little fed up with LeBron James. Last week, the fake crying, the charade that he put on before playing the Cleveland Cavaliers in Cleveland. He hasn't formally announced that this is his retirement season, his farewell tour. Yet we're kind of treating it that way. Probably because we see the drop-off in his game this season. You look at the numbers, he's averaging 22 points, 6 rebounds, and 6.5 assists. This is a guy that last year was averaging 24.5 points. The year before that, 25.5 points. 2 years ago, 2021, 30 points per game. His average rebounds per game is the lowest in his entire career. The average of his assists is the second lowest in the last 10 years for him. His shooting 50% from the field is the second lowest in the last 7 years. His free throw percentage continues to be horrendous. It's at 73%. His three-point percentage is 33%. And nowadays we're playing a sport where there is routinely 240 points in a contest. So, on top of that, yeah, he had sciatica, which has limited him to just 31 games played this season. He didn't make his season debut until 15 games into the season. How is LeBron James an all-star over Kawhi Leonard? Makes no sense whatsoever to me. It basically just says that at this point, the NBA is giving him the honorary LeBron badge. You're LeBron James. Here you go. You're an all-star. And so now being an all-star in the NBA is just as meaningless as being named a Pro Bowler in the NFL, because we have Shedeur Sanders, a Pro Bowler. We've got LeBron James, an all-star, in a year where he's not an all-star. It's okay if LeBron James is not an all-star. We recognize he's one of the greatest players of all time. He hasn't been an all-star by any definition of the word or of the accolade this season. So why are we just giving it to him?